Welcome to Shadowrun Out of Nest and On Edge. Mission 20, I do believe, in London, and we are doing a heist. And thanks to Kara, stolen bads.
A snatch job, if you will.
Okay, sorry. Now, is that a reference to something, El Diablo?
I figure snatch.
When you say snatch, are you referring to the derogatory term for a woman's...
No, the movie
genital-
Snatch.
Okay, and what makes you bring up the movie Snatch?
I believe that's one of those Englishy heist movies.
Oh, it is, but it's not a heist. That one was the spiritual sequel to the heist movie, which, well, I'll put it this way. I watched Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels last Saturday. It's a fantastic movie, and I highly recommend it.
It has been a long time since I've seen it, but I'll put it on my to-watch list for the near future then, given the campaign.
Or given the particular mission. Anyway, now, I'm just going to have to see, what did we say Pink said exactly? If anyone can actually pull that up before I do and start reciting it before I do, hey, have at it. Because it might just take me a minute to actually find that.
In which chat log? Because I don't have the same chat log on MapTool.
Not on MapTool. I'm thinking it was in BBM, which is why I want to recite it here to make sure everybody knows it.
I think it was actually in TeamSpeak.
No, I've got it right here in BBM. Pink will know enough about the thieves to be able to confidently state that they're small-time but ruthless. Little bit stupid too, but make up for it with the raw ballsiness. Still, they're not fearless and they're not suicidal. The thieves see this heist as their opportunity to get out of Lambeth and, quote, move up in the world, unquote. They have no gang affiliation, and the only member of their little impromptu band of brothers to be a noted drug user is the same one who informed them all of the easy mark in the drug, I don't want to say drug lab, but what's another drug den? No, it's not really a drug den. You don't use the drugs there. So,
Grow.
Sorry?
A grow or go-op.
A grow
is
op,
what
yeah.
They usually call it when they do marijuana.
Yeah, I guess grow up would be the way to put it. Okay. This guy's intel was basically along the lines of, I went there to buy some rolls, and the idiot dealer showed me the room full of cred sticks. Thousands, easily. There were 4 of them, all unarmed and seriously baked. 4 people, not 4 cred sticks. They also had a cage set up at the front door to their place, but they apparently lost the key, so they just leave it unlocked and open all the time. This will be like taking candy from a doped up baby. And additionally, it will be mentioned that they will go to the location, do the robbery using the guy, Plank is his nickname, who's the drug addict. He'll go in, offer to do a buy, and while they're distracted buying from him, he'll draw his gun and his buddies will jump in and they'll rob the place. They'll be in and out in a hurry. They're willing to kill the people if they need to, but they know they're a bunch of cowards. Just pointing guns at them should be enough to make them shit themselves and retreat. They're apparently just bringing... The thieves are only bringing a bunch of shotguns, sawn-off shotguns. This being London, they don't have, access to weapons the way that someone in Seattle might. The boss of this little group of thieves goes by the name Dog. Although, Pink, you want to roll me a memory roll, please? Just to see if you ever caught his real name. Okay. One guy will be carrying the weapons to the destination, then handing them out, and then, well, not good enough. All right, and then we'll most likely have those weapons on the way back as well, while everyone else is busy carrying all the drugs. There are 5 of the thieves and 4 of the drug hippies, basically. The location of the drug lab, if we go to the London map, is pretty much smack dab in the middle of Lambeth. Well, okay, not smack dab in the middle, little east and a little south of the middle. Meanwhile, you'll also see a blue circle basically along that main highway, which is the thieves' address. So that's where they are leaving from and where they plan to return to once they've done the heist. So while the original plan we discussed was to hit them at the grow op, an alternative would be to wait for them in ambush at their own place. Or if you want to risk it, try and intercept them along the way. According to Plank, the guys who are doing the grow op, they just got lucky. Like they have whatever this is drug that Pink isn't even sure what drug it is. No, it's not close to Sid's place. It's a duplex shared with Sid's place, Pink. If you notice that the icon for Sid's place is literally underneath the thieves' address, because it is technically one building that is divided by an interior wall.
Which brings up an interesting in-character question as to whether Pink would be comfortable letting these guys walk away when they're that close to where she spends so much time.
Well, that's why disguises are so important.
Ooh, that reminds me of something. But it'll come out later. Keep going.
Okay. I think that was about everything then. They'll have a van of the thieves will have a van of their own that they will go to the destination to do the robbery and go back in that same van. They do not drug busts, but these thieves, their speciality is robbing from drug dealers, because that's just the way they do it. They find a drug dealer, they rough them up and or kill them, take their drugs, take their money, go back home, redistribute the drugs. So this job seems like a big haul for them. Like they think this is the one that's going to help them buy their way out of Lambeth, because busting a dealer on the street and taking his stuff, it's enough to survive on. Going to a grow op that is completely undefended and just robbing them blind, this could be their ticket to greener pastures. Pink is suggesting that you're not allowed to shoot over at Sid's place.
Well, my drone's useless here.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, but still the point is, do we want to, where do you guys all feel like we need to ambush him?
Well, Pinkie Pie, you got friends living at this Sid's place, right? At their home place?
Before Pink replies, Orchid scoffs. I don't even carry a gun. How foolish to deal with all of those kinds of problems. Pink says, don't call me that. And yeah, I could call some people up. It's a 50-50 shot. That's not what El Diablo, that's not what Whiskey was asking, Pink. Whiskey, do you want to try again?
Yes, well, no, that's... I don't figure out your friends will be helping. What I'm figuring here is you have friends living there, right? Friends who you don't want to get shot.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Well, then I don't think it's a good idea to end this whole chase over there. Cause the thing is, like the bosses, they say they don't want, they want these fuck up criminals to take the rap for this job, basically to take the blame for this job. That leads me to think that whoever is running this drug grow into operation, they have friends, probably dangerous friends. And those dangerous friends are, if they track your friends down to their house, well, they might do things to your friends. You got me?
Pink says, my friends can handle themselves, but I'd rather not put heat on them. They'd bitch about it.
Yeah, so I'm figuring it better to leave to get them straight away and have them easily pick upable. The criminals we are going to hijack, I mean.
Yeah, and if only one of them is going to be carrying guns as they're loading the drugs into the whatever vehicle they have, it'll probably be a smarter idea to take them out then. Then you get all the guns in one go.
For clarity, they will be bringing all the guns on one person, and it's being assumed that all the guns will be brought back with that same person, but not guaranteed. Pink would also say, I'd say catch them halfway through their route, not too close to the drug house and not too close to my place. Pink, you yourself would know that that would potentially make this even more risky, because depending on which route they take, they could end up driving through someone else's territory, and then things might get complicated. Orchid will say, well, we still need to get the equipment as well. Who wants to engage in some logistical endeavors?
I would like maybe to go shopping for the disguises.
Then it's a matter of what kind of disguises do we want to go for. I have an idea that we could probably use it for some of the safety equipment I would think would be best for all of us wearing if we're going to the Lambeth zone, as well as dealing with an unknown chemical or drug.
Oh, we'd still need some kind of mask, since I'd imagine most chemical suits have clear plastic over the face.
Yeah, no, masks are going to be a big thing because we also don't want to risk any of us inhaling any of the slime mold that could be in the Lambeth zone. Actually, not likely, very highly likely we're going to be coming across that.
I was not thinking of chemical sealed masks, but that might make my plan more difficult.
Not
Kara,
really,
who
we
is
try to-
Orchid talking to? Okay, so Orchid says, oh, you would? Yes, how about you take your sister then? It's good to have a good perceptive on such matters. Not sure on the grammar of that one.
Yeah, but my thinking is that we try to portray ourselves, or at least have ourselves look like either some kind of cleanup or restoration crew for the Lambent Zone. That's like the ones that are currently going on.
And Pink, if you do the ambush properly, nobody has to shoot a gun. The thieves will be at their most vulnerable, either right after they come out with all their stolen goods, or as soon as they make it home when they think, ha, we've made it. We're at home base, you know? So if you break into their house before they get there and lie in wait, the moment they walk through the door, you could jump them. If you do it at the drug lab, and as far as you know about the area, the drug lab isn't owned by anyone else. It's literally just some dipshits who got lucky. There is still a chance that it's kind of a semi-public area. So the other guys, the thieves, when they steal it, you know, there's a chance they might get spotted. But coming back to your place where Sid's is, that area is much less populated. Orchid speaking to Pirate and Whiskey, I assume, saying what? Fumigators? Renovators?
Easy to be pass ourselves as, considering the equipment I think we should probably be wearing for our own personal safety.
I was actually thinking more like suits and masks of the presidents of the United States. Or maybe a more appropriate masks of prime ministers of England.
Pirate's just gonna look at it, Whiskey, like, what are you talking about?
Orchid will agree with Pirate, say, besides, people tend to... She would then stop and stare at Whiskey. Are you serious right now?
What? It worked in that one move, in that one thread.
Oh, Point Break reference out of character.
I don't know. Maybe Pirate even wants to say that in character and then try to slap her sister.
Yeah, pretty much it was like she's referencing that old. Wait, early
They
1990s.
call them flat screen vids.
Okay, so how long ago was the 1990s exactly?
80 years.
Honestly, actually, Point Break is still a popular crime movie, so yeah, that'd probably still be referenced or at least known about. So
They remade it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but no one knows about that.
I honestly was not aware they
well-
remade the movie.
Orchid will say, we want to blend in. We want to look like people you just want to ignore. Like a janitor, not a Trio B movie cast.
Yeah, we.
Oh, you need to learn to have some fun when you're on the job, you little girl. That will come with age, I bet.
Whiskey? Which is more important, having fun or being able to get paid? So you can have fun later.
Yeah, payment.
Pink, do you have any way of altering your voice with cyberware?
Orchid will say, I will have fun when I am not around the presence of such simple folk who are entertained by the promises of failure rather than the allures of success. Pink, replying to Bishojo, will say, I do not, though I wish Sid would have gave me some.
Well, then we'll need a voice distortion mask for you. Last thing we need is this whole thing being blown open because one of the thieves recognizes your voice. I'd also like to pick up some CS or pepper punch grenades just in case. And if anybody's got a spare phone, we could plant one on their ride so that we can keep track of their location throughout this whole thing.
And Pink will say, that'd work. Orchid will say, you know, a muzzle works well at keeping her voice from being recognizable too. Oh, sorry, and she apparently muttered that quietly under her breath. Prodigy's been very quiet during all of this. Does he have nothing to add? Likewise for Smoke.
He doesn't really have advice, but he's trying to think of how he can be useful with low technology, and then he's not supposed to be shooting things. And Ray only got.
Remember, just having a gun pointed at your head is sometimes enough to get someone to be compliant. So a drone, even if it doesn't have to pull the trigger, could still be a handy addition to an intimidation.
Oh, I know.
As a matter of fact, your rigger skills might end up being the most valuable thing that you can do.
Especially
Except,
with taking the car.
Prodigy's not a rigger, he's a hacker.
For now.
It's all smarty pants tech, boys.
All right, Pink will say, okay, so there are 2 times they'd be at their lowest guard, when they're stashing the drugs into their vehicle and when they arrive at their place. If we have decent disguises, we could jump them at their place without them knowing who we are. The other option is much more public, but it is an option. And yeah, that's about right. And then, sorry, Smoke, you had anything to add?
Instead of a comm link, just get a couple of RFID tags.
Or
That thought occurred to
listen
me,
me out.
but this is Lambeth. Cell phone coverage is not going to be good. We want something with more range than an RFID tag.
And Prodigy, you had something to add?
I have invisible drones. If we need to, I can get one of them to sit like on the roof and grip into it.
Well, I suppose that would be more than adequate.
Okay, someone is crunching
Chewing.
into their microphone. Holy shit.
Sorry, I thought I mute myself. I mute myself on the wrong thing.
Okay. So to keep this moving at a relatively brisk pace, we'll just do a quick line down here. So disguises, ambush at one of 2 locations, drone support, what else was there? The tracking device, any other major points that have been brought up? Well, Smoke, you want to perhaps do a walk around in both areas?
Again,
Oh, he's
we
AFK.
have
Fuck.
we have invisible drones that might be slightly better for spying.
Just bear in mind, matrix coverage is shit in the Lambeth containment zone. So if you want to stay connected with your drone, you're going to have to be within mutual signal range. So whichever signal is lower has to be met.
Could we have like a booster or anything near us to help that? To amplify the signal?
If you want, but then what happens if some hobo comes along and smashes it with a rock?
That's a good point.
Or more likely, steals it.
And smashes it with a rock.
So the other option, put something in between that has a strong enough rating to try to intercept the signal more or less, and then relay it.
Or you just stay within range and just stay
Yep.
on a different street than your target.
I mean, it's rating 5, which is, as far as I know, pretty long range.
Yeah, one of these days I'm actually going to copy this fucking chart down, but I think that's like on page 231. Let's see here. Too far. 220. 220. Oh, maybe it wasn't far. No, there we go. 222. Okay, page 222.
That was-
4
that was
kilometers.
2 pages up.
Okay.
It's 2 pages up. But you said this is a dead zone?
It's not dead, but it's really shitty. So you basically don't have the towers providing consistent service. You've got people's nodes popping in and out, creating temporary connections.
Okay. So 4 kilometers does not reach the outer limits of the Lambeth containment zone, does it?
What, thinking about staying home?
No. It's just if we don't have to have someone enter such a dangerous area.
So yeah, basically each hex is 100 meters. So 40, I believe, is 4 kilometers. Is that how that works? So 4 kilometers.
100? So in
100
other words, it's
meters.
4.
100
Yes.
meters.
And this
But-
is 4 kilometers.
Yeah. So 4 kilometers is 4,000 meters.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, actually, your range is just enough to go from one location to the other in a straight line.
From the thieves' address to the heist address?
Yeah, I'm doing a measuring tool from one location to the other. It is basically exactly 40 from one to the other in a straight line.
Okay. Can you create a circle? With the outer points being the 4 kilometers? So like.
Not easily.
Oh, okay. I thought you could do it as you had done it before.
Well, not if we want it to be mobile.
Oh, it doesn't need to be mobile.
No?
I just want the circle to make it so I can see one end tier, the entire circle that he can be within. Yeah, I think I've said it a couple times now. I've also mentioned directly right there in front of everyone.
But yes, when Bishojo brought up the tracking device in character, Prodigy brought up drugs.
So a circle that's about 4 kilometers right there.
So it. Okay. Which means Prodigy can safely be completely away from the action here or here. Hold off to the side of a highway. I don't think those highways exist anymore, do they?
Oh, they do. They just, depending on which highway it is, might be a shanty town, a la Fallout 3, New Vegas 4, you know.
Yep.
Mainly Fallout 4, I guess. Or it's one of those highways like the one that goes, which one is that? The A2? No, not
Okay,
the
the main one.
A2. No. The A5. The A5 is still intact.
I'm guessing it's heavily policed.
It's got rail turret kind of things to protect it from being attacked, yes.
Okay. Well, so where do we want Prodigy to be? Close towards the. Oh, we
should
can
be
literally
mobile.
stash him in Pink's place.
He should stay mobile if he's planning to get his drones to go about.
Mm-hmm. Well, he has his vehicle. Oh, does he have his vehicle? Because I talked to you about the drones.
Yeah, we didn't talk about a vehicle.
I know.
And do you want to actually drive your vehicle in this area?
That's true. That's probably potentially a really bad time.
Yeah, you'd probably want to like ride bitch on Whiskey's motorcycle or something.
Well,
Hey!
is Whiskey not specifically getting in on the action?
Wait, are we talking about the reconnaissance here? Or are we talking about the actual, like,
I mean both.
thieving? Okay, so when the ambush happens, you'll just want to be at one location or the other. I mean, unless the whole group really wants to try an ambush in transit. Like, there are so many ways that could go wrong.
Yeah, I already stated a few earlier. So whiskey's definitely not for that.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. I wasn't suggesting that, honestly. I was asking why Prodigy needs to be on the move, just because his drone's
Well,
there.
because I thought you were doing the reconnaissance.
Yeah, I mean the drone can do the reconnaissance while invisible, can't it? It's a medium-sized drone while having.
Yes, but don't you want to stay connected to it to
Yeah, that's
prevent
specifically
it
why I
getting-
asked. If I'm at Pink's address, which I think is also the
No,
thieves'
see,
address.
okay, like if you were in the center of this big pink circle, all of that range is where your drone could go before you lost connection to it. If you were over here, that circle wouldn't make it this much further.
Okay, so this is 4 kilometers
From the epicenter.
like, yeah, 8 kilometers diameter.
Yes, 4-kilometer radius.
Yeah, radius. Thank you. Okay, so I guess that was what part wasn't clear to me at the start.
Also, keep in mind that you may at times need line of sight, and there are plenty of buildings in Lambeth. It's called the Squeeze for a reason.
Sorry, each hexagon is 200 meters?
All right, so I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
It
that's
looks like I miscalculated
4
the range.
kilometers between the two. So this is a 4-kilometer circle. So being from Pink's place, he should be able to get to the target and be within range. Okay, so I didn't know if that's what I was missing out on. So basically, with rating 5, yeah. So that's 4 kilometers radius centering on the thieves' hideout, aka Pink's place. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was trying to confirm.
Yeah,
and
sorry.
incorrectly
When
articulated.
I was using the tool, it told me that I was doing 40 hex worth, but I didn't realize it was measuring 40 by diameter, not by radius.
Okay.
So yeah, actually it is a really big range at signal rating 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Signal.
But in
7.
any event, you're good without having to move around. But still, if someone shoots down your drone, just saying, retrieving it will be a bitch and a half.
True. I've acknowledged that possibility, and I'm hoping that the fact that it will be close enough to the rest of the combat team, and it shouldn't be much of an issue. That's the hope is all.
Okay, but let's do a quick show of hands digitally, as it were. So I want you to type into the chat one word, either grow up, hideout, or transit as where you want to do the ambush. So at this point, it looks like the hideout has it, but Twister and Kara, just want to know what your two opinions were on that. All right, I'm gonna have to poke Twister. Where's Kara at?
Kara said that she'd be RIP.
Oh, shit, I must have missed that. Okay. Yeah, Desperado, you had something? Are you actually saying that in character, Desperado?
Well, since Twister's Eddie was not in character, then no. But
Okay. So, El Diablo, it looks like most everyone wants to do this at the hideout. Is that going to be a problem for Whiskey?
Nope, just means that, yeah, she suspects that they might be getting visits from Yakuza, Mafia, whatever later.
well, remember, just because they're there when we take their stuff doesn't mean they stay there. You know.
Well, it does if you've tied them up well enough.
Oh, not if we tie them up well enough in the back of their own van and then drive that van into, oh, I don't know, the parking lot of the nearest police station.
Yes, but remember, you're using their van to steal their stuff. Do you really want to put them in their van again?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to take the van with us, not unload it there at the place. So yeah, okay.
I mean, if you want to unload it right there rather than, unloading it somewhere a little more discreet.
Nope. I just blanked out on that part of the plan.
But yeah, Whiskey does not particularly care if such visits occur. She doesn't live there after all.
Pink's friend can always get a new place.
Okay. Prodigy, your flying drone you wanted to use just to make sure that they don't veer off course, basically.
To guide them, you mean?
Sorry, what?
Sorry, to attach onto the.
Do you want to use your flying drone to make sure that the thieves don't go somewhere else and, don't end up getting slaughtered at the drug lab, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
At the same time, I'm going to allow. Orchid's not going to the grow up. I don't trust machines.
No one's going to the grow up at this point, other than maybe Smoke to do some reconnaissance.
Okay. In that case, I will also connect. I need to give these things names. I'll also give Dragonite.
Fucking really?
Sorry, it's on the Dragonite episode right now on Twitch. Ray just told me.
Fucking really?
Ray just told me. Huh? It's over now, apparently. Anyways,
Okay.
I don't know what that all means.
that's fine.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Smoke is also going to have an open connection with the drone in case, for one reason or another, they move southeast and think better of trying to go directly from the grow up to their hideout.
So use Smoke as a relay. Are you still here, Hunter?
Yes.
Okay. So Smoke, you are willing to basically be mobile and try to get back to the hideout before the drug thieves do? Or do you want to stay at the ambush site and be ready with everyone else to do the ambush?
I think it would be best if I'm actually there at the site, just
Sorry, when you say site, do you mean the grow up or the hideout?
the hideout.
Okay.
And hiding so that he can inform them, okay, they just arrived. Get ready.
Oh no, you should that'll be easy. Like there could be all sorts of ways to keep an eye at the hideout that you don't need to be waiting outside. And really, if anyone should be waiting outside, should probably be Whiskey, because she'd be the most difficult to hide inside the hideout. And she could basically just be, oh, there's some troll hanging out across the street, whatever. And then, she slips on her mask and runs in and goes, nobody move. And then the rest of you jump out from your hiding spots. Because that way the troll is blocking the door. It's a lot harder to escape when there's not some scrawny elf blocking the door.
Yeah, if Smoke's going to do any reconnaissance, it would be like the day before, not Terror Raid.
Yeah.
Yes, but Prodigy wants to know if anyone would be willing to basically be a relay station just in case the drug thieves end up going not back to their home base.
A safety line. So, in worst case scenario, they don't go northwest, they leave the perimeter that the drone is in, we lose sight of them. In that case, having someone halfway between means that we have a line in case it doesn't come back, and halfway between, if they do come back, we already have the drone keeping tabs on our every move within this vehicle, so you'll be able to make it back way before they do because you're already halfway there. Yeah.
Pink is probably the logical choice for that. Does she have a motorcycle or something?
Who?
Pink?
I don't believe Pink has any vehicle.
And that's why I smoke. Smoke or whiskey.
Whiskey definitely has her motorcycle.
Well,
Oh, it's
if
a
whis-
pretty badass one.
Yeah, and if you want to do that, it'd be you're not going inside even. So all you really need to do is park your vehicle safely and then wait outside, or literally just sit on your motorcycle outside.
Fair enough, though they might also, I might also be pretty conspicuous with them thinking I would be followed, but I'm willing to try it.
That's just it. You don't need to take the same route they do, or you go ahead of them. Like once they start heading back, you make sure you're far enough ahead of them that you get there before they do.
Which, given the 5-kilometer broadcast range of that drone, should be pretty easy, although what's Whiskey's comlink's signal range?
Yes. Whiskey, what is your signal on your comlink? That's right. Whiskey and Pink are supposed to stay together.
Let's see, signal.
Really hope it's at least 5. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3 now.
Where can
You
I
have a
find-
Singularity Battle Buddy basic. That means it has signal 5.
Yes.
Score.
Better than Smokes.
5 is the minimum range that would make this work. 4 would be half too small.
What's the broadcast range on a rating 4 signal?
1 kilometer.
Okay.
So staying in the middle, you'd miss both sides.
So pretty much that singles out me for that job then.
Or at least singles out your comlink for that job.
Fair enough.
Well, you're comlink, and you're one of the, 3 people here who has a vehicle that wouldn't get them immediately accosted in Lambeth.
Yeah,
And Bishojo would never use accosted.
yeah. Smokes' ride happens to be a racing bike.
Now, Whiskey, are you going to have Pink ride Bitch with you? Just so that you can keep an eye on her?
Well, if she wants, sure. But,
Well, you're supposed to keep an eye on her. So that's
All right.
that's the point here.
yeah, I think if Pink stays with me, then she also knows the way around Lambeth. I'm not too familiar with the place, so maybe it's handy to have her around. At least as a guide, so I don't get lost.
All right, so it sounds like we have the plan pretty well put together. but we need to acquire one or more transport vehicles and our miscellaneous shopping.
In that case, this is where I go AFK.
There is also no.
okay.
There's still one part of the plan we need to discuss,
Yes.
What part is that?
and that's the once we have the drugs, we'll need to drive somewhere, transfer for them onto the new vehicles, and decide which route we take back to the Hammersmith.
We're still doing a swap, and then we're doing like the actual delivery at the hammer.
Basically, the idea is we take their van halfway to the Hammersmith, we transfer vehicles, and we take our own vehicle the rest of the way. And yeah,
Yeah, I figure.
actually, that is one downside of hitting them at their home. We definitely can't go to the palaces, the city, anything like that. That entire direction is a bad idea with it.
Yeah, so we basically would. Well, that actually does give us an opportunity. If we do throw them back into the van, we go towards the Royal Observatory of Greenwich. There's a lot of green there, and it's less guarded. We actually come right past the drug lab again, so we could technically just dump their people off there, on our way, as it were.
That would be hilarious, but probably not a good idea. And also driving their van past the place they just robbed, also probably not a good idea.
And really, grabbing them at all and transporting them gives them the opportunity to try and get the upper hand again.
So I'd say we'd probably cross over. It looks like there's a small bridge that would lead into kind of not quite the dogs, but close. I think. How far out does the city of London come here?
Basically, that whole southern coastline.
Ouch. Okay, so
But we can take the bridges around the docks to get through there. I think that's a bit less guarded.
Yeah, all those bridges that are connected to the Lambeth containment zone are checkpoint bridges, or destroyed, or in the case of the A5, just goes over the Lambeth containment zone entirely.
yeah, it looks like, moreover, at least at this resolution of the map, the only bridge I see that connects there is over by that observatory. And then the next one, if you follow the Thames West, is one that leads right into the city of London.
There is one right where it says Canary Wharf. There's one that's a little hard to see just underneath the NA.
Yeah, was actually the one I was looking at.
That one, however, would also be a checkpoint bridge.
So we'd either have to make our vehicle swap 4 and make sure that we can bluff our way past the checkpoint, or we're going to need a boat.
There are plenty of barges in the River Thames.
I figure, especially around the docklands.
Well, just the whole way down. Garbage barges are pretty common.
Alright, so we might need to at least pick one of those barges and know that they are somewhat reliable for this job.
This is the sort of thing where Prodigy and Orchid might be able to maybe do some research, like going to a data haven or something like that.
So you just said there's going to be checkpoints around on these two bridges then?
No. Those are the two that don't have checkpoints.
Those could be ones we could use.
The ones that have checkpoint, okay, so this one doesn't have a checkpoint. Those two don't have a checkpoint. This one's a tunnel, and then these ones over here don't have checkpoints.
What's the problem with just using the roads to go east and go take the tunnel, the non-checkpoint bridges?
Or take these bridges. There isn't a problem. There is limited checkpoints here and here, but then you could also literally, drive through back streets and try to find a way in and out somewhere
Oh
along
yeah,
here.
back streets go down to S circular roads and just get around there and then head north.
The only problem is that takes us like within a kilometer of the place that just got robbed in the
Well,
vehicle that just did the
unless
robbing.
unless you go like this way and all the way around.
That'd probably work.
Yeah,
But,
it depends on how much of extra time we want to add on to our escape route. But honestly, I think the best if we
There is no
play it
time
safe.
limit. There's no rush.
Yeah. The only priority is make sure we don't get tailed. That's the only requirement we have.
Well,
All right,
and
then
don't
we'll just take
don't
that.
get pinched either. Like, and don't get your convoy exploded by gangs.
But yeah, but it's
or
pretty
ca-
clear that we don't have to. As soon as we get the goods, we don't have to rush back though. It's best
Correct.
we just take a little bit of extra time, or how much extra time you need, and do this safe and proper. I think that would be the better call than worrying about trying to sneak through checkpoints.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good to me.
So,
Alright, so we'll
Orchid
take
says,
the-
my army and myself would be willing to put ourselves to the task of doing research. Twister, do you want to read Prodigy?
Your army?
To which she says, she'd say something awkward. Yes, my army. I suppose that's more of a term for it. I have many agents I have under my control. I suppose calling them an army might be a bit grandiose for now. More like an elite knighthood would be more fitting.
Oh. Okay.
Are you going to show off your agent, Prodigy?
No, I only have one.
But it's a hell of a one.
It might be a hell of a one, but I don't imagine it could take on an army.
It's kind of it's that old question of the ninja proportionate law or whatever it is.
Well, the more ninjas there are, the weaker they are, but the less ninjas are, the stronger they are. Same with stormtroopers.
Conservation of ninjutsu.
The main thing, the only way to make sure that you're always stronger than a mass of weaker people is to have hardened armor, but I don't think you can have that in the Matrix. Conservation
Well,
effectiveness.
that's horribly off topic.
Oh,
Yeah, whiskey shakes her head at the two tech people talking. Just goes, "Oh God, don't tell me they play with plastic miniatures or something as well. Wouldn't surprise me at this point."
Well, I mean, theoretically, we'd be working with hard light toys, because those
Tridio,
are...
yeah.
Nerd.
Don't worry, I'll make games
Bishojo
run
leans
VR.
over and whispers plenty loudly enough for Orchid and the Prodigy to hear. I think the thing they want to play with is each other.
Prodigy is not paying attention to that. He hears nothing.
Sticks his fingers in his ears. La 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 la.
But yeah, to translate that into normal people speech, you are going to send out a whole bunch of those search thingies to look through the matrix to find information to make this job safer, right?
Orchid will say, it's all right. I suppose efforts of strategy, even in a mundane sense, might prove somewhat overly complicated for you. Whiskey, was it? I wouldn't want to burden your mind with such frivolous matters.
Hey, are you trying to call my sister stupid? Because you're probably being accurate.
Okay, so we are on which day here? Let's go back to the Shadowrun Out of Nest page and take a look at my little calendar of doom. It is the 30th, and the drug heist will be happening on the 2nd. So, Prodigy, are you also going to do any kind of data searching for information that you can think of?
First and foremost, we already know the identity of the people, but I'm going to search up what they're actually like the criminal record if I can obtain it.
No criminal record. Police don't. Police are only just starting to enter the Lambeth containment zone. The place has been lawless for decades.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like, these people grew up in a part of the city that never saw police other than SWAT teams coming in as part of raids to go for something.
And when they did come in, they came in. It wasn't even like a regular SWAT team. It was like, you know,
Paramilitary.
yeah. You
Yeah,
didn't go into Lambeth in small groups.
It was an invasion force more than likely.
Well, then I guess there's nothing I can get on these guys.
Yeah, that wasn't the point. That's not what we were looking for.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll investigate the checkpoints to see if there's an easy way to bypass them without having to use barges, which is the second point on the docket.
Can
And
you
then-
maybe also investigate the pot growing the drug growing operation?
Yeah, that's the third point on the docket.
Again, how would you?
Well, they probably advertised themselves, I'm guessing.
By word of mouth. It's
Yeah.
it's a part of the city that has been technologically regressed.
Basically, for about 50 years, they sealed that part of city up with the giant concrete walls, and they only went in for like major terrorism or something. And when they did, they went in with basically an invasion force, and then got the hell out as quick as they could.
And on occasion, they would send in like food trucks or like other resources as relief efforts. But those were few and far between. And basically, what would often happen was a gang would grab one of those trucks, and then they would be the ones to dole it out to the people they wanted to dole it out to. Which, by the way, did we figure out trucks last session? I remember we talked about Pink's friends having some food delivery trucks that were too big for your purposes. But didn't someone else look into some trucks? I could have swore somebody had something on the docket.
I think it was Prodigy who was looking at more like U-Haul trucks, those things closer to that.
DeSojo talked to one of her contacts, and Prodigy talked to one of his, and Prodigy's contact basically handed him, here's a book that'll tell you how to steal your own trucks.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what it was. Right.
And
Okay.
Whiskey basically basically thought of her underworld knowledge and knew that probably Beckett could already arrange for some trucks if we asked him in the right way.
Well, remember, he flat out said, if you can't get yourself some trucks, I'll get you the trucks, but they're coming out of your paycheck.
So to speed this up, if you nab 2 trucks, well, Whiskey and takes Prodigy into the Lambeth area. We pick out at least 1 truck that is the right size.
God, if you're stealing the trucks from the Lambeth zone, you don't even need that information you got, Prodigy. You're dealing with trucks that predate the modern Matrix.
Okay. In that case, it wouldn't work due to the fact that we want these trucks to not draw attention when we're outside of it. So, heading west to the south side.
Also, you couldn't hack into those trucks, so we would have to steal them the old-fashioned way.
That's literally what I just said, basically in a different way.
Yeah.
But yes. So, West End is where you want to steal some trucks from? Westway?
Westway or south side, because south side we don't have to deal with the bridges to get them. They're a lot closer. So, if we want to have Whiskey's the first guest, but if anyone wants to bring Prodigy along into the area, then he can begin to confiscate at least one vehicle.
Right. So, Orchid, if you want to do that research, go ahead and roll. We never actually finished this part of your character sheet, which freaking annoying on my part. But your dice pool would be, I'd say, at least 15 or 17 going into VR. Knowing Orchid, she doesn't really like VR as much as doing it the traditional way. And then, of course, you have your... oh, fuck. All right. I was going to say you also have your Knights of the Round, who I don't remember how many were data search specialists. Do you have that list on you, Kara? Okay. So yeah, 7 hits. There are multiple companies all throughout London that use vans in either automated drone or actual having a driver behind them, or having the most common riggers who stay at the offices and they rig multiple vehicles, jumping in and out of the vehicles as necessary. But the companies that are cheapest are the ones that just have straight up drone vehicles, because drone vehicles are the least secure and the easiest to hack. Thing is, you know, when a drone vehicle goes MIA, they take note. When it comes to a person with a vehicle, when they go MIA, they'll usually ask the driver, "What the fuck, man?" To which the driver will, if, you know, they're doing this, as "I'm on my break," or "Sorry, man, I'm just running an errand." So something to keep in mind.
Also, a question: would a drone vehicle even have kind of like passenger space and such still?
Well, it'd need cargo space at least.
So a lot of drone vehicles, no. Rigger vehicles would be a 50-50, because some rigger vehicles are literally just drone vehicles. Other ones are actual human drivable vehicles that are just being co-opted by a rigger.
Yeah, because I do think we also need space for people in whatever vehicle we use.
Yeah, well, there's always space for people in the storage area, just not seatbelts.
We're Shadowrunners, except for Prodigy. We could deal without seatbelts.
Ow. Ow. Really? I mean, if anyone's not a...
know, I now know where you live.
And I was gonna say,
Bishojo? No, I don't think you do.
That's what you think.
if anyone here isn't a Shadowrunner yet, it's Pink. She's still just a street drag.
Well, an orchid possibly. This was like her first job or such.
Shh, no one knows that yet. But yeah, Prodigy, Orchid's done a bit of research for you. Do you want to do research of your own, or are you just going to use the research she's done for you?
I think I am going to put my own time into research as well at the same time.
And are you doing this as VR or AR?
VR.
So you'll be able to get this information way quicker. Go ahead and make your data search roll.
Okay. Can I have Osiris start the roll? Like the preliminary search, and then
You want Osiris to assist you.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll Osiris's assist dice pool for data search. And of course, bearing in mind that
Yep.
these devices are always in VR, but never get the VR hot sim bonus because that just isn't a thing for them. So you'll get a +3 to your roll.
Barely any better.
It's so bizarre how Twister has like the shittiest luck ever. Then again, Orchid rolled 22 SR4E earlier and got 5 hits today. So
Can somebody else roll 20 SR4 and then 20 and then the resulting dice? Okay. Oh, Popo.
where's Pirate a bow,
Okay.
Bob?
Apparently, I didn't get hooked into it when I switched maps for some reason. Because it was originally had Pirate on some of my earlier ones.
And Al Diablo. Test. All right.
It's-
Anyway,
2 people that lost, or it was equal, and then 3 people that were better. So it's about average.
okay. So, Prodigy, you can confirm all the information that Orchid got and can probably narrow down to a few more probable locations that will be helpful for getting a vehicle. Or more than one vehicle. That's the question. Do you want to steal both of these vehicles from the same company, or do you want to steal one vehicle from one and one from another? Do you even want to have multiple vehicles?
It's a good question. Team, do we want multiple vehicles or we only want the one?
If we do this right, we'll only need one. If it goes bad enough, I don't think a decoy will be useful. But that's my/Bashojo's opinion.
Honestly, since I'll be there with my bike, it's likely that I'll be functioning as a decoy anyway.
All right. So does anyone disagree with Bashojo and Whiskey?
The nays don't have it. Therefore,
Okay.
the ayes are.
Okay. So yeah, just one vehicle will do, which will make this a lot easier. Orchid will say, that is a fair opinion. We need not overly complicate things, especially when dealing with less complicated minds.
I'm glad you know yourself well.
I'm trying to eat here. I don't need any kind of comment.
Is Prodigy going to defend Orchid's honor at all?
Well, I mean, she kind of walked into it, but at the same time, I don't. Prodigy really doesn't have a comment because he doesn't know whose side he's supposed to be on. Because, like, she's kind of right, but she kind of deserved it. And he also kind of likes Whiskey, so he really doesn't know who to pick here. It's finally someone else his age that he could talk to about hacker stuff and he'll understand. But
His age.
as far as he can tell.
Mhm.
I don't want to know that she's a 90-year-old vampire. It's not. It's not what I'm interested in.
Okay, that's
It's
a little bit.
not the Ellen.
Turns out Orchid is an 80,000-year-old cyber zombie.
Time travel?
Yes?
In any event. Well, for that matter, Pirate, you're a magician. Is there any other magician other than Orchid here?
Don't think so. I think it's just me and Orchid.
Right, and Pirate, you never bothered to check Aurora, did you?
I think I did last session, but that was just
Def-
like
Definitely,
the like
Definitely
glow,
not.
I think. Okay.
definitely did not. If you said you did, your microphone was muted,
Correct.
Oh, okay.
and you never rolled. So, but
Okay.
I don't know if that's important to Pirate or not. Does she care? I know Okami likes to check out people's auras, but does Pirate care?
Honestly, in this scenario, she's not going to be that intrusive on Orchid just because Orchid has not really done anything to raise suspicion at the moment.
Other than being a sassy little Asian girl. with a very British accent.
Yeah, and she's been insulting my sister, but my sister kind of deserves it, but she's also been getting her own, so the scales have been balanced in this scenario.
Fair enough. Okay. So anything else you'd want to... when are you stealing that vehicle? Today, tomorrow, or right before doing the heist?
The day before the heist.
Okay, so tomorrow, technically.
Yes, tomorrow, on the 1st.
Anyone want to do anything else today? Get those disguises, probably?
Best I would
Investigate
do
the
is
location.
just astrally project myself toward the heist address where we're doing the ambush, just so I can see the magical essence of the area and see exactly if it's a weakened area or it's a dead area.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Go ahead and do an sensing roll.
I also suggest getting the astral signature of our criminals, of our thieves.
Well, again, I can't do that until I know if the place is dead. If there's a dead zone, I can't project
Yeah,
myself into
well, I mean,
that.
as a next step.
Yeah. You're a few steps ahead of my plan already, but you know where I'm going.
Just waiting for that roll.
I know. Skills. Sensing it was 9, just wanted to make sure. Four hits.
Okay, so Pirate, when you go into the Lambeth containment zone, you can see that there are rippling pockets of mana that ebb and flow more severely than they do in the rest of London. Basically, it all kind of balances out. The rest of London is magically enhanced, whereas Lambeth is magically scarred, as it were. But it's not as awful as, say,
That chemical plant where we got ambushed by the invisible chick that took us all out.
but there are spots like that.
Yeah.
But not the whole place. But when you get to your destination, if your astral form passes into the building, you'll feel that it just feels slightly weaker. Very, very marginal. Basically 1 point of magic deducted.
Okay, so there is one there, but it's not as bad as I would have to worry about. Okay.
Yeah, so if anyone does magic in that location, -1 to your magic score.
Okay. That's good to know. That means spirits themselves will be at 1 less force then.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
And Watcher spirits would dissipate.
I can't leave a Watcher spirit to watch your spirits out. I can't even summon those around here, so that'd be good to know and share.
You could have the Watcher spirit watch from a distance.
Basically, Watcher spirits are effectively force 1, so 1 minus 1 is poof.
Yeah, I know that. I was just trying to say, what is the zoom rate of a Watcher spirit?
The what rate?
How big can I magnify or zoom what they can see?
You don't. Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought.
There's
I
no,
can have it work
there's
at a
no
distance.
magnification feature on a magical construct. However,
Yeah.
they would be able to perceive auras from a distance, but they'd be looking at them under a haze, essentially, because there's -1 mana in that area.
Yeah, so it's not even going to be worth it at that point, I feel
Well,
like to me.
well, basically, it would allow you to tell if someone was also, maybe got a camera set up there. If, say, 4 people walk out of the building, but your Watcher spirit can only see 2 of them, you'd know that the other 2 have an essence that makes them invisible. Their essence is so low, they can't be seen in the mana void or mana ebb.
Oh, okay, that's something to write down and share for later. And would Pink share the exact address so I know which building to take a quick look in, right?
Pink, are you being cooperative? Or does Whiskey need to shake you a few times?
Okay.
All right. So, on account that she doesn't believe the rest of you can take a joke, she's going to share the information without making a big deal about it.
Okay. So I guess I would just go through, and would that count as a sensing or active as senses? I'm just going through and seeing what I can see with the -1.
Sorry. Oh, you're also physically going through their building?
Yeah, if I have the
So
address, I'm
yeah,
gonna take
then
a look.
-1 to your sensing roll.
Okay, so that would be then. If I'm actively looking through here, then so that would be 13 -1, so that would be 12.
Oh, that wasn't active earlier? Okay.
No, that was just no. It seems like just her casually looking around. Because I just figured if she was actively deceiving here, she would miss a few things because of her OCD. So 4 hits.
Okay, so when you go magically snooping into the area, you will find, this is what, 2 days in advance? Probably in afternoon, midday kind of thing.
So they'll probably still be doing preparations if they're home.
If they're home. You're going to find that there is only one astral form inside the building right now. It is a where's that list? There we go, a sensing table. Okay. One individual who is apparently an orc, low essence, but very limited cyberware. So most of their essence is missing from what you would assume to be drug abuse or other maladies.
So it's hazy then, okay.
Hazy and also like faded, like low energy. So this individual, not a hell of a lot of implants, but just enough implants to basically put up a fight. And these are definitely second-hand cyberware implants. They don't seem, they have a sort of, they make what's the way to put this? They feel disconnected from the astral form more so than what you'd expect from regular,
Probably
mundane, yeah. And the person's emotional state seems to be impatient, pensive, angry, not a pleasant fellow. Pretty big, other than the, past drug abuse, healthy enough, but malnourished. Just seems like a big, tough orc with enough implants to be that little bit extra tough.
So pretty much kind of fits what you would expect for people who actively live in the containment zone to kind of be.
This one's definitely doing better than the average citizen, quote unquote. Like malnourished, but not starving. Big and tough, not scrawny and weak,
So he's a well-off resident of the containment zone then.
Yes. Anywhere else in
Okay.
the world, he'd be not doing so well. But in the containment zone, He's living the big life.
Okay. Then yeah, I would. When I come back from astrally projecting, I would inform everyone what I discovered and figured out of the place, magically wise. I wouldn't hide anything. I would just add to the end is like I could tell there's one person there, but if there's anyone there because of how weakened the magic of the area is, anyone who is a bit more anyone who has a bit more cyberware or bioware than that fellow I found there, they will be hidden from my astral sight.
So they probably won't have overwhelming numbers or something like that.
Astrally, I could only find one person, but if they were more cybered up, they would be able to just be hidden.
And Pink already said that there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
4, usually 5 on occasion.
When I describe to Pink the orc, does she recall anything about the orc? She's familiar with him?
Pink, go ahead and roll a logic plus intuition. Oh, Pink's AFK at the moment for dinner purposes.
Okay, we can wait.
So, yeah, Pirate so White. I ran. Okay. So logic
Ran
plus
so far
intuition.
away?
Also, Orchid, do you want to do any astral sensing sort of stuff? Okay, are you doing the same location or are you going to the heist address? Oh, 4 hits. Okay, Pink. You know what? Thinking about it, the boss of this little gang, he's an orc. The guy who goes by the name Dog. Yeah, he's an orc.
Okay.
All right. So, go ahead and roll an sensing first to see if you're going to be careful the way Pirate was. Or if you're so proud, you can just go ahead and do your sensing roll for diving right in.
Okay, so I guess I would see Orchid and Pirate would see each other's astral form for the first time for each other then as we're doing this.
Not necessarily. She might not be doing this in the same place as you. Like when you left, maybe she's like, "Oh, wait a little bit, then I'll go." That's up to Kara to decide. And your dice pool will be 8 normally. Okay, so being careful and cautious, you'll be able to tell that this area is an aspected domain. Go ahead and roll for your knowledge. Where's that other character sheet? Orchid, skills, knowledge, dice pool of 3 plus 9 is 12. Holy shit. You do not recognize this magic tradition at all, but you can tell that the building has a weak ward placed upon it as well.
Ooh. So this place might potentially destroy these guys.
But a ward doesn't hurt somebody in the physical.
You're
A
right.
ward prevents magic from passing through it.
Yes, but it's protected. Someone put
she
the
was
thought
able-
enough in
okay.
to protect it astrally. So why would they stop there?
Well, Orchid didn't see anything else there, just that it seems to be aspected and that has a ward, which would suggest that it is somebody's magical lodge.
Yeah, so I went one way, he went the other way. I was at the thieves' address, she went toward the heist address.
Huh? I thought you both went to the.
No.
So-
Pirate went to the thieves. Orchid went to the heist.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went
The
in different
drug lab.
directions.
Yeah, I should rename it to the grow op. That'll make more sense.
Honestly, that's also a risk that I just realized we're taking. What if they simply don't succeed in their heist?
Well, all a ward does is try to repel astral projection and spirits from coming and going from the space.
And like was said earlier by Pink, who overheard the guy who went by the name Plank, these guys are hippies. They're idiots. They've got security measures. They never use them. They're too trusting.
So they're just going to be hitting a place where it's a bunch of just a free love hippies are just hanging out.
Basically, all this really means is that one of them's got at least a little bit of magic. That's it.
Or
That's
that they
probably
haven't,
the guy who's making the drugs.
or they have enough liquid currency to pay a weak ass mage. You know, just throw a protective ward over us.
Yeah, though I still suspect that they have very strong and dangerous backers, because else why would Beckett be so nervous about it not being traced back to him?
Because he doesn't want anything traced back to him ever.
Because
He,
looking
he,
with
he wants to remain a reputable businessman.
Yeah.
I
And
still
you
think
don't
it's
want to-
suspicious.
And you don't want to be connected to the stealing and selling of drugs when you're not you don't have the permissions or the legality to do that.
Also, generally, he's, he never knows when he might have worked with some of these people at some point in the future. You know, it's never good on your first meet. Hey, you're the guy who ripped me off.
Yeah, exactly. That's the curious thing. I'm the person now being suspicious, and the rest of us, it's perfectly fine.
Then again, it's Bishojo instead of Mike, you know, so Bishojo's like, whatever, let's do this, let's get paid. Whereas Mike would probably be like, suspicion.
Yeah. At the moment, everything that's been explained to Pirate makes logical sense at the moment. Nothing stands out as suspicious, at least to her mind.
Not to mention, Bishojo has enough confidence in her abilities that it's Lambeth. She could probably take on half of Lambeth and come out alive.
You don't
but
know
I
some of
think-
the things that can grow in this area.
I think we've kind of gotten a little off topic, but let's take this as an opportunity to take a quick break, and let's reconvene in about 13 minutes.
All right.
Alrighty. Without saying that two-letter word that I constantly say too often, we left off with Orchid and Pirate doing some sensing of the locations. Pirate has established Dog's aura, at least assumably. It's an orc, and that's the only orc that Pink knows about at that location. And Orchid has established that the Grow-Op has some kind of astral protection she doesn't recognize. Will Pirate also check out the Grow-Op then, or does Pirate just trust Orchid to say, I don't know what it is? Is Bobob here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Did you not hear my question?
No, I was typing something out. Sorry. Yeah. I'll guess she would fly over there and take a look, because considering she is more likely to understand and figure the minuteness of this kind of stuff out.
All right, go ahead and roll your sensing then, please.
And this one is not minus, correct?
Well, you're
He's
not
gonna run
going. You're not going inside the building, so you're
No, that's what I
just
meant.
looking at it from a distance.
Okay, so
All right, and go ahead and roll. Do you have magical traditions as a knowledge skill?
yep.
Good.
Yeah,
Roll
for
that,
sure.
please.
Okay. Three hits.
It's voodoo.
So voodoo hippies?
Well, do you have any other magical knowledge skill that you could potentially roll?
I have traditions, magical theory, spirits.
Okay, go ahead and roll magical theory. See if you can't get any other insight here.
Okay. Wow.
This is really bizarre to you. I mean, you know that this is a very diverse world and people come and go from all over the world. So, I mean, sure, some people from the, southern U.S./Central America have come over here apparently and set up shop. But yeah, it's a really weak ward. Like, you could probably bombard it with watcher spirits and collapse it. It's not that impressive. It's just enough to get some privacy on the astral, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's probably the main confusion is that she's trying to put what she understands from her teachings of voodoo as a magical tradition with what has been described to her as, well, 1960s free love hippies, sort of, and how that doesn't mesh.
Well, I mean, what you understand about the voodoo tradition is that it actually is a pretty laid back tradition. A lot of their rituals involve drug or alcohol consumption.
That is right, actually. That actually raises a couple of questions now. Because there is one drug that immediately comes to mind from voodoo tradition, but I'm pretty sure it's not that drug.
What's on your mind?
That zombie mind control drug that's sort of negatively attached to voodooism.
Well, that's a regular drug, isn't it? Derived from like sea urchins or something?
Yeah, it's like
Pufferfish.
it's like a neurotoxin or something like that.
It's a
So-
neurotoxin from the pufferfish.
So theoretically they could be, but it's already been the words roll and weed have already been applied. So this might just be magically enhanced marijuana.
But why does it have to be in a liquid state, though? That's the other issue that's been mentioned as well.
Yes, there was mention of them needing some kind of liquid containment bags.
Yeah.
So maybe
So
it
a
is
lot of this is
maybe it's awakened fish that they're fish farming inside this old warehouse building.
yeah, it's just like it's like pure concentrated THC. But how would that then be awakened at that point?
Or magic frogs that they're licking.
That would be more a South America than
That would be
Central
more
America.
Aztec.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No. Even more south than Aztec. That would be Amazonia.
Yeah.
But are you going to report this back to the rest of the group or anything else
Yeah.
you want to do?
I would report that back because I don't want to risk triggering the wards at the moment. It's too early to then get them on edge.
So everyone else has now been informed. It's a voodoo place. Orchid, do you have anything to say? You know, the fact that you've never been exposed to voodoo before. It's something new, but you're also very proud. So I don't know how you're going to react.
Yeah, definitely go with like anyone who questions Sochi, Pirate would give him the best knowledge she can of what she understands of voodoo and how drugs are part of the traditions of it.
May Whiskey make a underworld or gangs roll to see to find out if any gangs or organized crime in London, organized crime organizations in London are connected with voodoo traditions?
Sure, go ahead and make your roll. Orchid will say, then that shouldn't be a problem. Aren't voodoo magic people just zombies? But not like undead, just boring, mundane drones.
That's mostly part of the fact of the drug-induced enchantments as servants of the voodoo priest. It tends to be what they tend to be tied to. Not just everyone is, well,
She says,
quote-unquote
so-
zombie.
Yes, pushovers.
Yeah.
Oops, I need to impersonate.
Yeah, Whiskey, I mean, she knows about a few people who have, like, members of their gang that are from America, but, I mean, she can't really think of any that are, like, from Louisiana or, you know, the, what's it called? The Caribbean League. Like, nothing comes to her mind about anyone individual.
Could Pirate roll a chemistry roll and see what kind of chemistry she knows that would be commonly used drugs by voodoo practitioners of either the normal or the awakened variety?
They go for less processed stuff. So, based on your traditions, chemistry won't get you any additional information here.
Okay.
So, based on tradition, alcohol and weed.
Specifically rum as the alcohol.
Yes,
And
rum.
tobacco, rum, and weed. Okay.
Well, none of the big ones do that type of stuff that I know.
Yeah, if Pirate just thinks about this, it's like, unless that liquid they're selling is moonshine, which weird. Can't think of what kind of drug they could be using that needs a liquid Ana.
Well, I know one way to find out.
You gonna go buy some?
No. But we go and we steal the drugs and we find out what they are. Although
So,
if
two
anybody wants
ways
to try
to
that,
find out.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. Does anyone actually want to go to the drug site and buy some?
Fuck no.
Yeah, Prodigy's just like, no, just no.
Yeah, a sudden stranger coming in, buying some of the product, and then they get heisted shortly after. That's highly suspicious.
Well, that's assuming they don't get new customers every day. You don't know what their day-to-day operations are like.
Well, I'd be willing to go, but I think I will be the most recognizable of the group here, just physically.
Okay, let's just take a quick look at the group. No one is generic looking enough, I think.
Smoke is about the only one, but he's a pretty elf boy. Going into Lambeth
Exactly.
Containment Zone, he's probably going to get mugged.
Yeah, literally the only one here that could do it is then maybe outside of Smoke, the second best option I would guess is probably Pink.
But Pink also lives in the Lambeth
Yeah.
Containment Zone, so... you know.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Because Bashojo, Pirate just looks at Bashojo, just goes, as she's thinking this to herself, no. Prodigy? he'd probably get caught it even if he is buying illegal drugs. Orchid would stand out. Just as soon as if she gets halfway through thinking whiz, and then no, and then herself and just goes like, yeah, no.
Also, they might figure out I'd be working for Pulford, so they would track it down, and then the boss would know and all that type of thing.
So what? Smoke can't wear a hat?
I was thinking, but he
He's
has a
still pretty. Even if his ears are hidden, he's tall, he's slender, he's got smooth skin. He doesn't belong in Lambeth.
Yeah, I'd fuck you.
Hey, Smoke has a bike, right?
A racing bike, yes.
So that means he would have a biking helmet. Or motorcycle helmet, as it were.
Well, not necessarily. He'd have to have bought one of those. They do not come standard.
I just thought he would wear one since he rides a bike.
Well, we'd have to ask Hunter. Where's Hunter?
Present but muted. I do not have a motorcycle helmet on. I would have to
Well, that's
state
pretty
that I don't
dangerous.
have it. Well, it's not like he usually goes around and drives crazily.
Most places, it's a traffic violation if you're riding on a motorcycle without proper safety equipment, including a helmet.
In any event, is anyone going to go buy drugs or not?
Smoke's gonna pass.
Unless the party insists whiskey on doing it, no.
We have no one who can do this without being well recognized, sadly.
So effectively, the answer is no. So what's the
Yeah.
next step?
All right, so the next step, let's go back. The disguises. Who and how do you want to handle those?
We're sticking with the fumigators, clean up crew kind of disguises, right?
Again, bearing in mind that this is Lambeth. Yeah, cleanup crews would be dispatched there, but you'd also probably, well, no, I guess the residents probably wouldn't be suspicious enough of a cleanup crew coming out of a regular van, so that might work.
I mean, hell, if you go take a nice, pretty van, it's likely to get stolen.
Yeah, I would say most businesses who know they're going into the Lambeth zone would not use their better quality vehicles, just basic run-of-the-mill stuff.
They'd probably actually send in the armored vehicles.
Okay. That's
But
another good point.
the biggest problem is if you're going hazmat suits, Whiskey's a plus-size girl with horns.
Yeah, and also she will have to put it on quickly as well. She'll be driving around on the motorcycle, and at that point, I guess we don't want her wearing the hazmat suit yet.
Yeah, this was a hazmat thing, and then I was planning all this out before it's been informed to me that you were going to stick to your bike.
But yeah, a balaclava to hide her hair. Her horns, well, let's hope they don't recognize her horns. And a rebreather, a respirator, or a gas mask to cover her facial features completely.
And to stop her from breathing anything bad.
Ah, she's a troll. She can take it.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking like maybe I should just take a mask that kind of incorporates the horns, like some kind of devil thing. Then they might think, oh, it's just part of the disguise.
You're too tall. Like, I mean, come on. Trolls are obviously trolls. Even Fromari are still taller than regular people.
Ah, yeah,
You're
well,
just
fair
pretty.
enough.
Yeah. So I
That would
think
be cool though.
Actually, if we just if all we're doing is sending somebody in there to buy some, why is Pink's localness an issue? That would seem to be exactly who they'd expect to come by.
Because
If she walks down the street and they recognize her because they both live in the same area, it is immediately becoming an issue.
well,
Because-
it's also if a random buyer shows up and then the heist happens, whoop-de-doo. It's not like they're going to track you down. Pink lives in this area. If they get suspicious, like, you know what, she's never bought from us before, and then she suddenly showed up, and then we got robbed. What the fuck?
They can find out where she lives, basically,
especially when they figure
and
out,
visit her.
yeah, especially if they figure out it was her neighbors and she lives right next door to those people.
All right, point taken.
So literally the only person we have is Smoke. Honest, again, it literally falls to Smoke.
Well, again, there is something that a lot of you typically forget that you have. Contacts. You all
None of
have...
mine which live
I
local.
was actually just looking at that.
Yeah. None of my contacts are local, except Professor, but I don't think he's gonna come in here and buy weed for me.
Yeah,
You
for
could,
me,
could ask him. You could ask Hamlin.
I actually have Grim on my contact list.
She's busy right now defusing a bomb situation.
Yeah.
I also don't think Grim would be going into the Lambeth containment zone just every nilly-dilly.
Yeah.
Well, why not? She goes to get her drugs from somewhere, other than the evidence locker.
Yeah, and Hamlet's for Okami, not Pirate.
And I don't think Alistair would want to get seen, especially with his new job incoming, wouldn't want to be seen buying drugs in the Lambeth containment zone.
And in Smoke's case, one of them, he has no clue where they are exactly. And
Okay.
the other is...
I think we've spent enough time with everyone saying that they don't want to buy the drugs. Unless someone immediately wants to buy the drugs, just say yes.
Oh, Pink totally Bishojo totally wants to do it. It's just
Is
everybody
Bishojo
just telling
doing
her
it
it's a
herself
dumb
now?
idea.
Okay, do you think Bashojo needs to roll composure not to do a dumb idea? And Andre, yeah, Pink could totally try to convince one of the Lions boys to go do it.
Actually, yeah, that is a good point. Would Basojo think of it as a challenge, considering everyone else is saying Basojo can't do it?
No, she would have had to fail that pretty badly.
All right. Since you got your contact basically easy peasy last time, I don't think we're going to finish the heist tonight, Twister, but I do still want us to get as much done as we can. So I'm just going to say, yes, you'll be able to talk to Leon, and yes, you'll be able to ask Leon to... His name is Leon, right? Whatever your contact's name is, convince him to send one of his guys to this location to just buy something, but don't say who it's for. Don't, reveal any information. And Leon will ask, all right, is this dangerous? Why aren't you doing this yourself? And let's just see what Pink has to say about that. So Pink says it's just a bunch of hippies, not too noticeable to go up there, so... Oh, I am too noticeable to go up there, so I need someone plain looking to do it for me. Leon's like, all right, fine, all right, we'll go ahead and we'll send someone up there. What even is there? And Pink would most likely admit she doesn't know. That's why she's trying to send someone to go by. And Leon's like, okay, fine, we'll go find out what it is. So that will come back to you later. Disguises. Who's going and what are they buying?
Pirate is going because she's probably the one who knows best to get these kinds of suits.
Whiskey will also be going because, well, Whiskey is the unusual size, so she might need to be fitted for something. Also, she has a plan.
Is she going to share that plan with anyone?
No.
Okay, are you as a player going to tell the GM so the GM can know what's going on?
She's going to try and buy that thing I asked about earlier.
What, the comical masks?
Yeah, that one. Don't say what it is yet.
Well,
It'll
you're
ruin
definitely
it.
not going to get that at the same place that you're going with your sister.
No,
They
but
don't-
I'm
they'll-
sure she can go off for a little bit during the shopping.
Okay. Well, everybody, it was nice knowing you. Where were we though? Pink isn't going because she's broken. We'll leave it to people with cash to do so. Bishojo, you want to do buying a voice mask, wait, you want to buy a chem suit separately? You're not going to go for the
No, I made that list up to just, so all the data would be there. That's the default availabilities and costs in Nuyen. And aside from that, we can pick up flats from vending machines. As a matter of fact, they probably do a pretty good business in Lambeth now that it's open.
or they get robbed continuously.
Also possible.
Getting your flats from Westway or Southside or Docklands might be better.
But yeah, the point is, it's a vending machine. We don't... That's like a -2 availability.
Yes. No,
What's
those are
flats?
fun. Flat clothing. So it's literally just vending machine clothing.
Oh, okay.
Right. So do you want to go ahead and roll your availability check for the voice mask, Bishojo?
Sure. What's the check?
Negotiation.
And that's a typo because I have 2 more. It's supposed to be 15. So 5 hits.
5 out of 8. That will take up 1 day. You don't get it on your first day. Go ahead and roll for your next. So yeah, on the next day you'll be able to find somewhere to buy a voice mask for listed cost of 500.
All right, and that will get to go to Pink.
Pink, you've been given a present. How do you feel? But then also you have those grenades, right? How many of those did you want to buy?
Like 4 to 6.
And were you going to be doing the splash or the... I guess splash is the only option, isn't it?
Gas in this case.
Oh.
They're both gases.
Right, okay, but I don't know... Oh, there it is, gas. Okay. Oh, gas and splash are exactly the same anyway. Doesn't
Yep.
matter. Okay. Oh, and Pink says, oh, thanks, I guess. I'm assuming you're going to want this back after this is over.
That'd be nice, but you can if you get really attached to it, I'm sure we can work something out. And Pink, Bishojo laughs.
Okay, but for your grenades, it would be this is where it depends on how many are you planning to buy.
Uh, let's go with 4.
And 4 of which kind?
Uh, I'd prefer pepper punch if I can get them. If not, CS is acceptable.
So just 4?
Yep, these are the standard hand grenade types, not the micro grenades for a grenade launcher. So.
All right, so this one will be potentially shorter. So yeah, go ahead and make your roll. You need 4 hits. I'm sorry, these were hand thrown, right? Not grenade launcher?
Yes, that's why I'm getting a fairly small quantity. They're going to be bulkier.
And you can get them basically shortly after getting the voice modulator.
Also for list price.
400.
All right.
Oh, sorry, 100. 100.
Okay, 100 new yen for 4. All right.
And that was the pepper punch. Okay. Anybody else doing any shopping?
Yeah, yeah, guess that would be. Yeah, I guess for mask would probably be gas mask is the closest equivalent.
Or respirator, I believe, is the other option.
Oh, there it is. Toxic environmental gear. Thank you. Okay, so 5.
And Andre, you might want to wait until after we establish if you're keeping it at the end of the mission before you bother putting it on your character sheet. So yeah, a gas mask is worth 200 new yen, and a respirator is 25 per rating. Neither of them have an availability. So literally, it's basically just Pyrite goes down to the local like hardware store to get respirators, or the army surplus store for the gas masks.
Yeah, in the case of Shadowrun, the gas masks are basically respirators that have a oxygen tank attached to them so that you can completely seal them off.
We won't need that, I think.
All right, so
But
you
not
just want
that much of a
respirators?
toxin
What
Yeah.
rating of respirator? 1 to 6.
There you go. That covers everyone but whiskey, because I think whiskey would be the hardest one to get. I got stuff for everyone else. Since Basosha will probably say she's getting her own gear.
No, I'd assume you'd pick up, since she's a standard size, you'd pick up her chem suit and everything.
Yeah, so you're getting rating 3. Because with.
That's fine.
Yeah. Getting one for, I guess that's 6 chem suits then, and 6 respirators rating 3. This should hopefully be enough just to get us in, because we're not going to that toxic of an environment, hopefully.
And if it is, we all get high on
Yeah.
mystery drugs.
Yeah.
We were
Sadly,
going
thing is
to
though,
steal some
Pirate
drugs.
actually has a Mitsuhama EE suit with a lot of chemical sealing and everything else. Problem is, that kinda stands out.
We were going to steal some drugs, but then we got high.
So is Whiskey not getting anything here? you being
you said
mean
it
to
would
your-
be issues to get a
and-
chem suit.
And are you buying any of these for yourself, Pirate?
That's why I included the amount for me, one for myself and one for everyone
So
else.
then it's 4 regular respirators and 4 regular chem suits, and then 1 gnome-sized respirator and 1 gnome-sized chem suit. Because remember, you have to pay extra for miniaturized versions of things.
That's right, because we still have to fix the height issue.
Ironically,
Well,
Whiskey
jeez.
probably is easier to shop for than you are.
Yeah, true. Trolls
But
is
more
all-
more expensive for trolls, because it's just more material.
Well, as a gnome, it has to be specially designed because I have my size. Even if it's less material.
Yeah, that's not a standard size they stock.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you go to Evo, but in any event, is Whiskey getting a troll-sized uniform to match the rest of you and respirator?
I'm also fine just getting a biker helmet, really.
I'll at least get her a respirator, at least that's the best I can do, because she already said she's using her bike and stuff like that, and riding around in a chem suit with all that stuff would be a bit suspicious.
Yeah, and then I think I could just get a biker helmet to hide my face.
Then I'll at least get her a troll-sized respirator as well, then.
Still, would have to be a biker helmet with horn holes in it, but I think in all of London I can find a shop for that.
So you're saying you want to buy a biker helmet?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take a quick look here. Helmets and shields. Bike racing helmet is 200 new yen regularly. And then with the troll size, it's... I've got a error here. Let's...
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. She is doing this, but she cannot afford to get each one a rating 6 chem suit. That's 600 apiece.
Is she gonna talk to Smoke?
Well, you
Well,
guys
the
would know
chem
that
suits
she's...
don't have a rating. The respirators do.
Actually, the chem suits do have a rating. The 100... Base rating 1 chem suit is 100. Rating
Then
6
Oh,
is
yes.
600.
does
That
she
also
have,
sends the availability up. Okay.
does she have the an idea of how much it would cost to get all of us rating 6 suits and respirators?
Definitely because of her chemistry background and her... Pretty much because of her background, I would say she definitely knows the going rate of all this stuff.
What would the number be?
Oh, actually, VT, Whiskey eventually goes, hey, wait a minute. You know, I have this whole combat armor setup that pretty much hides my entire face. I could wear my combat helmet to this job, really. Because I have a full body armor helmet, and I think during the last mission we did discuss that that completely covers the face.
All right, so if you want to use that instead.
But Pyra, how
Yeah, I'm
much
getting
will
that
you need
information
for,
from you.
So I guess while we're waiting for that, Prodigy and Orchid, how do you want to do your car thefts?
Orchid?
By the book. Sigh.
I mean, we literally got a book on how to do it, so by the book would make sense. I guess technically it isn't for hacking, it's to make it so that the man can't control you, man. It's just not for you. Get out of the man's control. So we know how to get rid of them. I suggest we target them. Target our one vehicle that looks very plain. A vehicle that looks like there's plenty of very similar looking. Sorry, Ray showed up.
I guess Twister is distracted by Ray at the
Sorry,
moment.
yeah.
Oh, there you are. Are you good to go?
It should be, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So, or not? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So Orchid is willing to do support and leave you to do the heavy lifting, as it were.
I guess so.
Okay. So what would be rational for a couple of hackers to do is Orchid probably runs interference by distracting the network that is monitoring the vehicle while Prodigy is lifting the vehicle, basically. Do you plan to return this vehicle afterwards or just dump it in the Thames?
Good question. Probably
Fair.
dump it in the Thames due to the fact that there's gonna be a lot of DNA and magical aura essence. Aura. It's gonna be aura left all around the
Right.
vehicle.
Okay. So, Orchid, do you want to just run interference, or do you also want to change their logs to say that the vehicle no longer exists? Bearing in mind that running interference is easy, changing their logs is potentially going to come back to bite you in the ass if you don't do a good enough job.
I can probably lend you Osiris for the purpose of doing that. Prodigy feels comfortable lifting the vehicle.
Orchid asks Prodigy, what do you think would be the best choice? And what's Osiris, like the god of Egypt?
Well, since not really going to get the vehicle back, I guess it might be a better idea to make it so it kind of looks like they never had it in the first place. And yeah, Osiris is a god in Egypt. He's actually the god of life and death, and also kind of like the Nile. I mean, you've heard of colonialism, right?
Prodigy, is there any hint of sarcasm or jokiness as you're
A
explaining
lot of joke in that.
this? Okay. And Orchid will say, so, can he edit logs or should I? You want me on interference or edits?
Ooh, he can exploit, attack, and stealth. He's got a 20 in the purpose of editing a log. So I guess I should say he's really good at it. Like, he doesn't have a second chance via edge, but he's pretty good for it.
He doesn't have edit, right? Oh no, edit's one of the ones that is
Correct.
right.
He has
Sorry,
a rank
yes.
2, so it
Right,
totals
okay.
at 20.
Orchid will say, all right, then I will leave him to that and just cover this up then.
Alright, sounds good.
Smoke is going to learn.
We'll deal with that later. We're kind of focusing on these people right now. So, Orchid, since we didn't finish out statting out all of your comlink buddies, and we don't remember exactly how many you had, we will simplify this over much with a dice pool of 15, I think, would be the most likely amount. I'm saying for your assistants, not for you. So, and we'll say 3 of your agents would be helpful in this endeavor. So go ahead and roll 15 SR4 3 times.
Nice. It's a 15.
You lucky goose, you. Okay.
And the 2.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then Orchid, your dice pool, did we already establish what you'd roll?
I thought it was 16 plus 2, what is what you rolled earlier.
Sorry, do you remember where that was, Twister?
I'm still scrolling out.
Okay.
Remember if it was before or after the ambush tactics? That you just now it's well after.
I see her rolling a 15 a while back.
Yeah, and then I see
It's unlabeled, though.
yeah. I realize mine's on level 2. Which no 8, 12. Yeah, I guess it's 15. That must have been what it was. Misrecalled 18.
And yeah, go ahead and do a 15 for yourself then, Orchid. Although, actually, no, wait. Before you do that, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 SR4 because you're getting assisted. Kara? 21 SR4, please. It's up to you if you want to or not.
How many edges?
Yeah, it's plus 5, so 26 SR4E. Okay, so 9 points of basically causing interference and extra protection. So, Osiris, go ahead and roll your exploit to attempt to break in. Bearing in mind that he does not get fuzzy logic for hacking on the fly.
That is without the fuzzy logic.
And are you telling him to go for security access or admin access?
I'm guessing that we need admin access to do the job, so
All right. So he'll have to go ahead and make another roll.
I'm surprised we haven't created like various very simple firewall icons.
What's that?
I'm kind of surprised you haven't made very simple firewall icons
What do you mean?
instead of saying firewalls and then doing the roll.
Like something
sorry.
to impersonate for
Yeah,
when
never
you do
mind.
that.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. In any event, the see here, the interference should probably save the day. It's rating 6, so yeah, the interference will keep Osiris from getting detected as Osiris breaks in, and then go ahead and roll Osiris's edit.
Why do I not have this luck on Prodigy's rolls? That's nearly 50% across 3 rolls.
Okay, and then Osiris will report that the logs have been successfully altered.
And this is the issue with having an AI versus, a VI versus an actual Shadowrunner. It might have been more effective to have him run interference, but either way, then I'm going to have him delete the fact that he was in there at all. And
So roll another edit then.
why can't I get to this luck and Prodigy?
Okay, and so Agent Osiris reports that a breach of their network has been successful, the modification of the logs has been successful, and the vehicle has been removed from their database, and that history of Osiris's access to their logs has also been edited and deleted. Meanwhile, Orchid and her Knights of the Round are basically just banging on the front door.
Dun, 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 dun. The Knights Round Table was friends whenever able.
They're always able. Yes, but as long as they only think that someone's banging on the front door and that nobody actually got in, it's a lot less uncomforting.
But Prodigy, are you ready to hack the vehicle itself?
Yeah. And this happens immediately after or at the same time?
But that's your call.
I'm going to make it so it's... Before. Or, yeah, before. So I have to attack?
Sorry, what?
To get past the firewall?
Attack is what you use when you want to crash a persona.
Yeah. That's not it at all.
Exploit is what you use to gain control of something.
Yeah. Either way, I realize that also means that I'm rolling. I was -4 with the 2 rolls that I made to try to enter with Osiris, but as far as I'm aware, it didn't quite matter. So.
The world has changed.
And I'm going for admin access, so I'm guessing we need a second roll.
Yes, you will.
Okay, maybe I'm getting that roll with Prodigy tonight.
Okay, so Prodigy, you now have admin access of the vehicle. The vehicle is unaware of the fact that you've tried to hack into it, and at this point, I'm willing to just basically give it to you. You'd follow the directions listed in that form, I'm sure, but that will basically take up your next whole day and a little bit more of the day after, or 3/4 of the next day if you get Orchid to help you out.
So Orchid, I can do it. But if you want to help, it'll be a lot faster and more effective, and then we can do stuff tomorrow, like hacker stuff. You don't gotta, but
Orchid will say it would be much more efficient if we pool our resources, so yes.
cool. Are we rolling it all?
No, like I said, I've basically just given it to you. You just got to take the time. But will you share that document with Orchid?
I might run a pass on it and give her the necessary. More or less, I'll make it look like I made it, and then I'll deliver the necessary, the relevant information.
Roll edit.
Ooh, it's a fairly far roll.
Do you want to edge that?
Sure, that's my third edge.
Your pride is this important to you. Okay.
Pretty big.
I love how it was pretty big, and I'm thinking, yes, Prodigy's ego is.
Yes, that was what I was referring to. I don't know what else I could have been. Ten hits.
Okay. Orchid, roll you don't have let's take a quick look here. Spells that you have. So do you want to speed read this document? Okay, so you can bless yourself with speed reading abilities for a few rounds. And if you want, you just declare a force. Up to 8 is stun damage, up to 16 is physical damage. And okay, so force 8. You would roll a 17 SR4 for your dice. And 9 hits means you've maxed out, so you've got basically 8 times 5 is what? 80? No, 40? Doi.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then you have to resist 4 stun drain, and your drain is 19. No, sorry, I keep forgetting. 22 SR4. .22 SR4 to resist the damage.
Wow.
Okay. And then you can roll a logic plus intuition, aka a common sense. Right. Which for Orchid is obscene at 16 SR4. All right, so yeah, Orchid, you can flip through this pretty quickly. You get a really good idea of what information it provides, and go ahead and roll a 14 SR4, please. There is a little bit of suspicion, so analyze the data with a 15 SR4. You'll need 10 hits to figure out that Prodigy is a fraud.
Well, no, it's not that he's trying to fraud. It's more that he doesn't want to play his full hand. I'm gonna edge for the fun of it. Mission still hasn't even started yet. This is hilarious.
20, not 21.
15 plus 5.
No, it just like you get the feeling that he's holding something back, but no, this looks legit. It's authored by him. Doesn't seem to have any other like it looks like he's done a really good job of compiling information and putting it together in a very straightforward package of how to basically jailbreak a vehicle. She says this, so you're pretty good at this sort of thing then.
Hacking? Yeah, I'm pretty good for it.
I meant more the compilation work, but yes, that as well. And Orchid, do you want to roll an analysis on his Agent Osiris, or do you not want to check out his butler? Not at the moment. Okay. All right. So, quick checklist of what we have done. Where's that list of things to do? How fucking far do I have to scroll? Okay. Disguises, done. Ambush determined to be happening at the northern property, the thieves' apartment, hideout, whatever. The drone. How did you want to deploy the drones?
Well, I guess my first question is, how long can a medium-sized vehicle operate on its own?
Always 6 hours unless they have the efficient economy or whatever it's called.
Yep, battery size cancels out with the extra power needs.
Oh, okay. Then how come my mini drones had a work hour of 1 hour? Assuming they weren't doing, unless they weren't doing anything. Back when we were trying to watch over
Parsons' apartment?
No, trying to watch over Joseph Montesson to make sure that he got the money. You told me they only had 1 hour worth of battery. Unless,
I don't remember this, and this is a
okay,
tangent from
that's
today's
fair.
mission,
Okay,
so we can
so
look at
6
that
hours.
later.
I guess the easiest thing to do is the day before. Are we scouting the place the day before?
You're the one with the drone, so probably.
Yes, but is anyone else physically going there as well? Is Smoke or Pink or someone making a pass? No? Okay. Then about approximately 3 hours before we... Do we have a timeline that they're doing this on?
Yeah, midday on the 2nd.
Midday. Well, that's a large window. Then I guess I'm going to send. I'm going to send the Ford LAPD with 2 fly-spy mini drones. I'm going to park it and park the LAPD in a fairly high part of an abandoned-looking building, and then turn it off in the most power-effective way that isn't completely off, so I can have it turned back on within moments. I'm going to plant 1 fly spy on top of it, watching out, and then have the other one fly in front of the building, latch onto a wall to make it so it can watch where we expect them to. Or, sorry, I'll take 3. I'll put 1 at the front where customers come in and out, and I guess 1 at the back.
Sorry, where is this happening?
At the drug location.
At the grow up. Okay.
Yeah, the grow up, sorry.
And so you yourself will be within the Lambeth containment zone?
I'm assuming that at this point I'm staying at Pink's house.
And I believe Pink established that no one is staying at her place.
No one is staying at her place. All right. Well, then I also
Because
need to wait-
technically, she doesn't have a place. She bunks up with other people.
I see. Well, am I allowed to say that I have the vehicle that we technically didn't discuss?
If all else goes, you could rent one.
Again, this is Lambeth. You're Prodigy. You're a pretty young boy in a lawless part of town.
Well, I mean,
Even if they don't want to take you for a ride, if you come in here with a car and you don't have like a big fucking troll behind the wheel, they're going to take that car from you.
okay. Does the Lambeth area stop here? Because I believe that
I'm
there's
guessing
a large...
you're pointing at something on the map.
Yeah,
there,
on the map. Because the radius for specifically around
All
the
right.
grow
So,
up.
so you want to be
Probably
outside of
south.
the lab. So you want.
Yeah.
All right, and that drone can go invisible. So I guess you can fly it over the barrier without too much trouble. But yeah, if you just want to like hang out in a park south of the Lambeth containment zone, sure. Do you want anyone out there
Actually-
with you?
That's probably a lot safer right here.
So you want to be in the city of London.
Yeah, in a
Okay.
lot safer spot. In a legal vehicle with, I guess he doesn't have a driver's license, but the vehicle has a pilot program.
Of course, there's the issue of no loitering is permitted in this part of the city. And, well, okay, there's some very smallish parks. I guess you could
Okay.
loiter in a smallish park. Well, to be fair, Whiskey, it's the city of London. It's the most secure part of the city, short of the temple.
Ah,
So,
okay.
yeah, it's a teenage boy in a park is not going to be earth-shattering. It's just he has to broadcast his sin while there. So,
Yeah.
you know, if this were an op against like Renraku, that would be a very bad idea of him to do.
But this is against some drug guys.
All right, and so you deploy your drones and fly them on over there at the end of day 2. So technically, you're not doing anything else that day. Is anybody else doing anything on the first day?
Besides Whiskey buying the special thing and the rest of her outfits, no.
Yeah, Pirate's already has or will be doing what has already been done for the first day for her.
All right, and I guess you don't want to reveal what you're buying?
Not yet.
Okay. Orchid, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, how about this? Is there anything anybody thinks that we need to do before we actually get to the day of?
Yes, but I still want to try and get things in order a bit. So, just want to establish first day shenanigans. And yeah, Whiskey, you can get your purchase item. Orchid, you won't be able to be doing that magical surveillance until the next day when Prodigy goes to send his drones, because the two of you are busy scrubbing the car clean. Well, Pink, you could, if you want to, fuck off and screw the team, you could try and do that. Just be aware that, Whiskey's probably got you on a short leash, and she's probably actually gone shopping with you. If Whiskey's being intelligent, that is. Whiskey, do you have Pink on a metaphorical short leash, or have you let her go off to do her own thing?
I think until the day of the job, she's not going to be on her ass constantly, so she might be able to do her own thing.
All right,
yes.
Pink. So yeah, if you want to try and resist your gambling addiction, go ahead and roll composure. You hold it together just enough to say, you know what? Maybe I should hold on to this last 20 new yen I own, just in case something shitty comes up and I need to spend it. Smoke, is there any activities you wanted to do during that first day? Is Hunter here?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. No, nothing at the first day.
So Smoke's being a slacker. Good to know. But yeah, so by the end of the first day, Pink, your contact, will get back to you and say, yeah, my boy went up there and he tried to negotiate to buy, but I mean, they said he wasn't like an approved client, and he said that he wanted to be an approved client, and they like said, I don't know, I guess, like, have you got new yen? And he's like, well, no, I didn't bring any because I wanted to know what you're selling. And they're like, well, I guess we shouldn't tell you what we're selling unless you're buying. And he's like, well, fuck this then. And he didn't find out what they were selling because he didn't fucking bring any money to buy anything. But he will confirm that they do have a cage at the front door and they left it open. So we've at least got confirmation on that.
Will this information be shared?
Well, we'll find out. Pink will comment on God, those idiots. But yeah, Pink, do you notify to the rest of the team that you still don't know what they're selling, but at least you can confirm that the front gate is wide open? Okay, she will. Okay. So, like Desperado said, is there anything else we want to do before the heist day comes up? Any other prep? We've got our vehicle, we've got our disguises, we've got drones and astral forms watching the drug lab location. We have, I've mentioned disguises, right?
Yeah, chem suits and the respirators and everything like that.
Okay. Smoke, what are you up to, if anything? Or are you just coasting on this job?
For the day before the heist, he will go and scout out the heist place, and then get a feel for the area and basically get a map in his head of the streets and all that of the area. Since he's most likely going to be one of the drivers.
And does he have something to cover his head?
Or will he just chameleon the entire time?
I don't think his racing bike has a chameleon coating, though.
Nope.
It's a ghost bike.
Well, technically,
Wonder Woman!
gyroscopic bikes exist, but again, this is Lambeth Containment Zone. If they see a gyroscopic bike just driving down the street, you know damn well they're going to try and jump that thing.
Whiskey's bike is a gyroscopic bike.
And that matters to this moment?
Well, because you said that those bikes get jumped, so...
If there isn't a driver on it.
Yeah, probably not so much
Is
when
Whiskey
we-
sending her bike into the Lambeth without her there
No.
to protect it?
What he's going
Nope.
to do is disguise himself to make him look not as pretty.
All right, go ahead and roll your disguise roll. Bravo fucking oh. Okay. So if any of you see Smoke that day, good luck recognizing him. Fuck it, 10 dice and 7 hits. How's that even? Okay. So yeah, you're go ahead and do a navigation roll.
Navigation. Oh. This might be a little harder. Wait, can I add in the tactical satellite mapping software?
No, you don't. I don't think that's what that does. What's the page number? It's in War, right?
Okay. War, page 162.
Software creates a map in real time based on information from a tactical network. You're not on a tactical network right now. Additionally, if you run on a device that's networked with and receiving data from a device performing aerial reconnaissance, well, I guess you could ask Prodigy to get his drone flying. Yeah, either of which is tracking the area, which blah, blah, blah. It counts as a sensor channel for a tactical network. Again, you're not in a tactical network, though. Tactical satellite mapping software is rating 4 and does not function if its rating is reduced. Yeah, at the moment, you're not in a tactical network, so that software doesn't do anything for you.
So, navigation. Yeah, disguise is intuition based instead of agility. Oh, God.
I don't think you've used any edge yet, so you might
I'm
want
at
to
a
consider
-1.
pre-edging.
I'm at a negative
Right,
one
so you've
for
already
edge.
used a pre-edge, but yeah. How much more edge have you got? That is not an actual glitch, and with 2 hits, you get a moderate understanding of the area, but go ahead and roll a visual perception for me, please.
Since we never got to work with him, I didn't get any bonus, any gear to boost that. I'm doing it active since this is pretty much driving itself.
It is, it has a gyroscope.
Okay.
Gyroscopic stabilizer. A bike needs to have one of those to drive itself.
No, it doesn't. Okay. So it's
So-
not going to be active.
Yeah, in fact, it'll actually be distracted, so -2 to your visual perception. Unless, of course, you stop your bike on occasion to look around. but then you might be suspicious.
Would it be fair to say that he's purchased goggles in the meantime?
Well, he
Between
got 4
them?
hits anyway, so
Okay.
he can tell that people are checking out his bike frequently. Like, there are people salivating over that racing bike of his. So you're getting noticed in this area, or at least your bike is. People aren't necessarily noticing you as the driver, but they are noticing your bike.
Yeah, because at the moment, Smoke probably doesn't even look like an elf.
He's still a scrawny boy. But I mean, okay, I guess he could have packed some stuff into his shirt to make himself look more like an orc. But even still, your bike stands out.
So yeah, he's gonna get decent feel for the area, and then go around the thieves area, check that out before get a feel for that area, and then head on.
All right, go ahead and do a navigation for that as well, please.
This time I am pre-edging. Three hits.
Okay, pretty good work there. Yeah, you'll be able to get a pretty decent understanding of that part of the area. Much better. You feel more confident about this area. It's roads over here are less destroyed, it seems. So
Okay.
and likewise, you can do another visual perception at a -2. And yet, once again, you notice that people are noticing your bike. It's definitely making an impression.
And then Smoke will go ahead and head home.
Okay. Anybody
And
else?
I-
Sorry, go
and
ahead.
activating the morphing license plate.
Right, yeah. And spoofing chip, right? You have both?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because if you have one without the other, things could get bad.
Yeah.
Just gonna see what Fatal Child's gonna type here. It is a new day, so yeah, go ahead and, excuse me, and roll again. Just choking on my own throat, apparently. Fun. Do you want to edge that, Pink? Okay, go ahead and do an 8 SR4 to do your edge reroll.
I was thinking for a moment he has 8 edge, but no, I now realize he is re-rolling his non-hits.
Indeed.
That's more like it. So she's like very tempted. She's on her way to go gamble, and then she kicks herself in the teeth and says, "No, bad, no gamble." All right. Anyone else want to do anything in particular on the second day if they have any spare time?
If I may? Upon hearing that, well, Pink basically did not get the stuff, Whiskey would maybe go, fuck it, alright. And basically she would try and convince one of the regulars at the bar to basically say, hey, go score me some drugs here.
How do you want to do that? Intimidation, leadership, etiquette, negotiation, con?
I think first etiquette, and then maybe intimidation afterwards, like don't screw me on this.
Okay, go ahead and give it a shot. Diablo?
Yeah, sorry, I was checking out, I was also checking my edge to see if I want to use edge for this, but my edge is a little bit low, so I think I won't yet. Etiquette. Also, I have to recalculate because Shamar keeps showing it the wrong way. It keeps piling up the empathy software way too much. So, skill, charisma, that's 18. Yeah.
Okay, and so who are you asking exactly?
Probably one of the tougher customers in the bar.
All right. And the tough customer will say, well, what the fuck's in this for me? You can go get your own fucking drugs. I'm not your gopher.
I have to fucking man the bar, you bloody idiot. But, how about 100 million sound?
Fucking 100 new yen to go all the way into the Lambeth? I'm not a fucking idiot.
Alright, 200.
Can I have to do better than that?
That's about...
Wait. Okay. How's about you pay for my drinks for the next month?
Deal.
Oh no.
Okay, lady. I'll see you later.
That's gonna be a massive tab you're gonna be paying every day.
And he hands him a cred stick of...
She hands him.
Or she hands him a cred stick of 500 million to pay for the drugs. And you just pay for, and you just take the creds of this for what you pay for it. Don't go sticking the rest of it yourself. And at that, I would like to make an intimidate roll to
Okay,
make sure.
go ahead. And I don't see any cred sticks on your character sheet here.
Oh wait, yeah, I gave that to. I did have a credit, but I gave it to Beckett to pay off the debt. I
All right,
think that's
so-
also.
So you want to buy a new cred stick with 500 on it?
Yeah, if that's possible.
Yep, that's an easy deal.
Let's see. That's 10, 13. Do I get the empathy software on this or no?
Not on intimidations, no.
Well, it would go on intimidations, but it depends on if the software rating works or not.
I'm fairly sure empathy doesn't work on intimidation.
It does according to Chummer.
What's the page number?
For empathy software, let me see. Straight gear. AR60.
Considering it specifies negotiations and social interactions, as in, pleasantries, I'm going to say intimidation is not going to get you a bonus in this case.
Okie doke. So it'll be 13 then.
Okay, 5 hits. Fine, lady, whatever. I'll get you the cred stick's worth.
No, just do one dose. Not the whole cred stiff, but I need you to have enough so you can pay for it.
Well, what if they're not gonna, you not ever done a deal before? Like, seriously, like, one dose is 500? Or what?
Probably not, but I honestly don't know for sure what they'll try to rip you out of you.
You don't even know what kind of fucking drug I'm buying. What the fuck's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? I'm stuck in the bar dealing with idiots like you. Now go on, get!
Fine, fuck's sakes, fine.
My
And
question
he
is,
was
what happens
never
if they're
heard from
selling?
again.
Yeah, what happens if they're selling more than a one? I don't know if that's been thought of.
Well, if they deal with regular junkies, I have severe doubt that it's like, well, you need to buy an entire vat's worth to use.
Okay, though. It's going to be a while before that person gets back, assuming they survive the trip to Lambeth. Good luck. Anybody else doing anything on the 30th? Or the first? No, this is May 1st now. Anyone else doing anything May 1st?
I guess the best probably I could do would probably do further research on voodoo and drugs.
So you want to do a data search roll?
You have to be data search because she doesn't have access to anything else. So what is her data search?
Well, you do have a mentor spirit you could potentially try and poke
I
around
don't think he
with.
knows anything about voodoo. That is 5 plus. It is browsing software, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so
Data
this would be
search plus
9.
browse.
Four hits.
Okay, so you're doing research on voodoo in particular, you said?
Yeah.
All right, so you'll basically get, the generic websites that talk about, talking to the Loas, or, how to find out your future by making not sacrifices, not donations, but gifts.
Offerings.
Offerings, thank you. To,
The lower.
well, no, someone in particular. What's his name?
Baron Somdi?
Yes, Baron Somdi. Yeah.
Yeah, who
Stuff-
is the top lower.
Yeah. Well, he's not the top Loa. He's the gatekeeper. So everything you want to do with another Loa, you have to go through him first. But yeah, basically that kind of generic stuff. Nothing that's particularly helpful to you at first. Eventually you kind of flip through and look for other stuff. And eventually, I'm going to say it's probably about the same time that Whiskey's buddy comes back to her and hands her a bag with some green kelp-like material in it. And
I had a feeling.
you're going to read up on like a major operation that's underway from the Confederate American States to march on down to the Caribbean League and destroy their deep weed drug cartel.
Okay. But wait, Deepweed isn't awakened, I think?
Oh, yes, it is.
As a matter of fact, Pirate should take the drugs that Whiskey just got just to find out what they do.
Deepweed awake?
I am actually going to make a composure roll to see if Whiskey doesn't just take a drug she got.
Okay. You don't even know how they work.
Right, I remember this. This was something I was suspecting, but this was in the parabotany book, not in Arsenal under bad. Right.
Oh, Whiskey, you silly goose.
She eats some.
Oh, Whiskey, you silly goose.
I think Deepweed has to be inhaled?
Yeah, but Whiskey doesn't know
THC
that.
and nicotine are the primary active ingredients. Therefore, any way that you could get weed and tobacco into your system will work with deep weed.
The thing is, however, that Whiskey, this could be poison. Do you give a shit?
I think with one composure, no.
Okay, so you're not even going to do a drug resistance roll here. What's your body? Like ludicrously high? Like 11 or something?
Yeah, my body is 11.
Instead of my body is ready, my body is 11. Okay, so for the next hour, you'll be feeling... well, have you ever been on weed in real life?
Nope. I have many friends who have, my parents and my brother, but not myself.
Okay. So yeah, you're basically relaxed. You feel that your mind is open, man. For you, basically, this is just sort of it's pleasant, but you're doing a really shitty job at your job because people are just taking you to the fucking bank by like telling you, no, you didn't fill up my cup enough. Yeah, no, just a little bit more. Okay, thanks. And yeah, like, so Beckett's going to show up a little bit later and say, what the fuck are you doing, Whiskey?
Beckett, give me a hug, you big lug of you, man, you.
You're fucking high at work. What the fuck, you tough bitch? Get out. No, get away from the bar. I'm taking... Fuck, how much did you give him? Oh my God, you fucking... I'm taking this out of your account.
It's all good. It's. I certainly also started to. It's all good. It's all good. I'll just drink a little bit less. All right.
So Whiskey, you're basically getting charged 1,000 new yen for fucking up and taking drugs at work.
Okay, and how much was still on that cred stick that...
The cred stick didn't come back. He said they took the whole thing.
Okay.
So that's gonna be a lot of deep weed in that.
Go ahead and roll judge intention. You can't be sure, but the guy seemed pretty adamant that, no, seriously, they said that's how much it cost for one little fucking baggie of this shit. You know, like, I don't recommend going back to this place. Frankly, it feels like it's a ripoff for just weed, But, I mean, they said it's from the deep, whatever the fuck that means.
Well, she would be grumpy at first, but then she would have taken the weed, so then it was like, it's all good, give me a hug, you did well.
Well, this explains a lot, though, since it has to be cultivated 90 feet underwater, or 90 meters underwater.
No, to a maximum depth of 90 meters.
Up to, okay.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, after she gets sent away from the bar, she will indeed share the information and possibly the debrief we read with the rest of the team.
you wouldn't have any left.
What? No, she didn't eat it all.
Well, no, she would. After having her first taste, it'll be like, oh, I want some more. Oh, I want some more. Oh, I'm all out.
Or
I
like
do-
in the Parabotany book, as Kane would say, who fucking cares? I don't smoke it. If the drug cartel doesn't want it, I'll sell it as nori. So it probably tastes like dried seaweed.
Okay, well, that's very disappointing then.
The real question is, was Pirate watching her sister during any of this?
Nope. Pirate was back at her place.
Doing
So-
research and just going like, well, I found the drug?
It just would have been interesting if anybody had sensed her at that point.
Yeah. Well, it only forces you to actually perceive if you're an awakened being.
Well, all right. After she gets sent away from the bar, she will at least call the team and
Inform
can
them.
describe describe the whole situation and what she found.
Yeah, you
And
see that at the
so,
same time.
for Andre, do you have drug knowledge? Because if you don't, you can't roll. Oh, you do? Then go ahead and roll drug knowledge. Yes, Orchid, this is the perfect time for you to roll composure.
Yeah, and this is when probably the same time she's now calling the group about what she's experienced. At the same time, Pirate's doing the group call to tell them what she figured out as the drug.
Okay, Pink, now you're gonna like fucking kick yourself here. Because of course it's fucking deep weed. It's London. There has been like a huge upswing in deep weed lately, and you never put two and two together that this lab that has or grow up that has apparently been like doing really well for itself lately, and the fact that deep weed has been flooding London lately. All Orchid has to say is how foolish.
Yeah, and Pirate's gonna be saying, so this explains the water containers they've been wanting, because they want to take both the raw and the treated product.
On the plus side, I guess that means the full chem suits probably aren't necessary. Just
Well, they're disguises anyway at this
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah, the good disguises at this point, and you guys can we can end up just keeping them in case we need them later.
oh yeah, I'm saying though, you know, if they probably won't be strictly necessary, they will still probably be handy.
Yeah.
the only other thing that comes up to your mind here, Pink, is the fact that Rory Blackwood has been associated with the deep weed trade here in London. And go ahead and roll gangs or underworld if you have it. So yeah, I mean, if this is Rory Blackwood's deep weed, then it's especially important that the actual thieves take the blame, because you don't want Rory coming for you. Do you share this information with the rest of the party? Okay, so now everyone who has underworld or gangs can roll to see what they know about Rory Blackwood.
I got nothing.
Can I roll Shadow Community? If he's such a big character?
Since you live in London area, yes.
I have both gangs and underworld. Could I roll both?
No, go ahead and roll 1 with a +3 bonus to insinuate the other.
I don't have anything to hear. All I know is in the backstory, she went to school here for a couple of years, and that's all she's got.
Desperado, I'm guessing you're talking about parabotany. I don't know.
Bingo. And guess what's on page 9?
I guessed.
Yeah.
Okay. So, fuck. Wait, Prodigy. You and your fucking high-powered brain, huh?
Yep.
Shit.
That's not even including the bonus.
Okay, so Prodigy will get the most information here, but Whiskey will know this. Smoke, you'll be able to at least piece things together. Yeah, so Rory Blackwood is a Hogan or a Bokar from the Caribbean League who moved to London to set up shop. And it happened relatively recently, and he's been, kind of making waves by basically making sure that anyone who got in his way understood why it was a bad idea to get in his way. There's even this lovely story about this one time where he was just down at the local pub watching a game of football, soccer. And he had the TV volume up pretty loud, and one of the other bar patrons got upset about this and, went over and switched off the TV. And Rory wasn't pleased about this. But he knew that this guy that was pissing him off wasn't involved in the underworld, so he let it slide and just went over, turned the TV back on. The bar patron got even more upset. It's like, no, that fucking does it. Took the remote again, shut off the TV, and threw it away and said, fuck off with your game. I'm trying to have a conversation here with my mates. And Rory, very calmly, just sort of nodded his head, walked over to the side of the bar, picked up the fire extinguisher, walked outside, put it down in the street, came back in, ordered himself like the most alcoholic drink you could possibly get, like absinthe, I think, is like one of the highest proof alcohols, something like that. Went back, retrieved the remote, turned the TV back on, and fucking bar patron slams his fists into the bar, turns around, goes up to Rory and says, that fucking does it, and is like about to take a swing at Rory when Rory spits the alcohol into the guy's face and throws a lit match at him.
What is the alcohol content of this, what he was drinking?
Like I said, it's like
It's
the
high.
highest you can get.
Yeah,
So-
Like
it's
Everclear.
damn
I have-
high.
Yeah.
I have seen this scene.
Yeah, see, it's exactly the scene from that movie, yes. And that was just some random citizen, not even somebody who's in organized crime. And apparently, if you piss him off in organized crime, he's about on par with Pulford, who, there's a story about Pulford beating someone to death with a 10-inch black dildo because it was the closest thing at hand. Welcome to London.
See, I told you there was some big scary guy behind this lot.
I'd say I owe you a drink, Whiskey, but I think you've had enough for today.
Yeah, even I think I agree on that.
But yes, I definitely owe you a drink for that sometime.
So he burnt a man alive over a sports game and some disrespect.
Yep. Pink asks, but was the deep weed good?
Yeah. Hey, that was quite the experience. This is, I assume, a bit later, so she's come down. It does cost me some trouble, though. So, no, it's not going in my regular diet.
Whiskey, how many times have both mom and dad explained to you not to put unknown things into your mouth?
Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth.
I don't want to relive that.
And that's why but I don't do that, and that's why I got all the boyfriends.
Oh, okay. So, I suppose you as players will want to take the following week to decide whether or not you want to renege on this mission, bearing in mind that the one who hired you is apparently just as violent as Rory.
By next week, do you mean the next day? Because the event
You
is
as
happening
you as
the second-
players decide during the real-time week, because next session I'm going to pretty much start with the heist.
Bishojo's not afraid.
Yeah, but
As long-
Shoujo's suicidal, so...
Well, yes, also true. It's
No,
like
as
he
long
might
as-
be a font of bad advice almost as much as Whiskey.
As long as we make sure that the blame falls on the guy who's actually trying to rob this person, then she has no trouble with this. Because we're not trying to rob this person. We're trying to rob the people who then become owners at that time.
Or we can start a street war. We can rob them, and then we can turn in the majority of it to our client, and go to Rory and say, "I think we know who stole your shit."
Yeah,
This is a
Whiskey is gonna
small
hell
piece of
no on
proof.
that.
And then we give him a little bit of deep weed. That's probably from the same pack that we got it from. And then tell him for a fee, and then skip town the next day.
Or Rory just closes the doors and tortures the information out of you.
I mean, Prodigy's not going to be in there.
Remember,
Okay.
you gotta remember, we're Shadowrunners. Technically, we're criminals, which means he doesn't have to hold back.
You're right, but can you defeat him in combat is basically the only question that matters. Because
Oh,
if
we
you can
can
beat him,
defeat him,
you now
probably.
become
All of
a
us-
drug lord.
All of us on just him? Maybe. All of us and him plus all of his men and his organization? Probably not.
Wait, is he the legendary Shadowrunner?
No.
No, okay. So is he Joe Schmo with a violent streak and a bit of strength, or?
Well, okay, let's put it this way. Prodigy, you got 6 hits. I did mention he's a Bokar, didn't I?
I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
Okay, but I did mention that, right?
Yes.
That means
Yes.
he's a voodoo priest.
Okay.
Voodoo, well, not that Prodigy would necessarily know, but I mean, Pirate was doing some research. It's a possession-based tradition. So they conjure spirits and then throw the spirit into, like, a corpse, reanimating the corpse. So they are literal zombie summoners.
A necromancer. Okay.
More
Well, no, you
importantly,
wouldn't call them a
Prodigy
necromancer.
would have
Okay,
some
but
vague idea
regardless,
how hard it is to run from magic.
Well, yes. But keep going. What's the bottom line here? Or was that the bottom line?
Sorry, what are you saying?
I said, is that the bottom line, or are you still directing slowly towards the bottom line with emphasis?
The fact that a Boker is not an easy person to cross. They got friends on the other side.
Okay, now I understand that reference. With the face and the hat. But I mean, if you kill a Bokar, they cannot cast magic to bring themselves back in the same way that nobody else can. And
But
then
that
the
doesn't
magic they're
necessarily
sustaining
mean
that is
that
not
they're-
quickened is also turned inside out, correct? Other than
So,
the magic.
so what? You just want to straight up shoot him? We know where your weed is. Bang, bang, bang. Oh wait, I didn't think this plan through, did I?
There's also the downside. Just because we kill him doesn't necessarily mean we get rid of the possessed spirits.
Well, unless he's the bridge that's holding them over, because I'm guessing he probably wants some way to make it so that they don't turn on him.
Spirits go free if they're powerful enough. Some of them choose to stay in the material realm. If their summoner treated them well, they might even get revenge on their behalf.
Huh.
And
Well,
if
I
these
guess the
are
question-
high voodoo priests and these are lower possessing these, well, objects, zombies, whatever it is, they probably will.
Look, the point is, trying to take him on is a bad idea. If you're really that concerned about it, we just need to make sure that there's nobody around who can finger us. Either way.
Or you make sure Beckett and Pulford are happy enough so that they'll form some kind of protection for you.
Also true.
That's basically what Whiskey's banking on.
Or you warn Beckett and Pulford so they can negotiate with Rory, saying, somebody stole your weed, we stole it from them, but hey, we want to be friends. Here's your weed back, here's your money back. Let's let this be the bridge that unites our two factions.
Well, Whiskey would be pro that.
That is something we should probably run by Beckett as...
Oh yeah, no, that's like, yeah. So now that you know, you'll probably want to inform them.
So I
Yeah,
have
the
a suspicion
second
that Beckett already knows.
Well, just because Beckett is aware enough of the fact that he is cautious and doesn't want to, like, shit in his own backyard kind of thing here. So, best that we inform him just in case he doesn't, even if it seems like he may already know. It's best that we are aware that he knows, at least.
Okay, so just to establish, is there anything else pressing and urgent we want to get done tonight before next session?
There is something I would like to discuss with you, VT, but...
Is it part of the group?
No.
No. Okay, anything part of the group anyone would like to square up before we're finished tonight?
Just to make sure that we inform Beckett, that's about it from on my end.
That can happen next session. But yeah, so next session we'll start by talking to Beckett. Then we will have the other heist go down, the actual thieves stealing from the grow op, and you'll get to witness that through your drone and astral projection. And then you'll decide how you want to proceed once the drug thieves make it back to their place. Sound good?
Works for me.
Yep.
Okie dokie. So I
Sounds
thank
good.
you all for playing this night, and I'll catch you in the coming week. Dun dun dun.
User in your channel stopped recording.